TNT Uverse TV.
The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
The deeper into August we go, the harder your Rangers seem to push. They push hard at the plate with quality at bats and clutch hits. They push the opposing defense with pressure on the bases. The pitchers push themselves to either go deep into the game or finish strong. And they are pushing the Oakland A's to keep pace with the hottest team in the American League. Tonight, Derek Holland looks to push the Houston Astros right on out of Arlington as your Rangers look for the sweep. It is another picture postcard evening here in Arlington, Texas. Blue skies overhead and the Rangers getting set to finish off this homestand. They will try to do it in a winning style as they take on the Houston Astros. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Greaves, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us tonight on this Wednesday night of Ranger baseball. It's a battle of southpaws, and the Rangers hope they have the best southpaw going. That would be Derek Holland, Tom.
Well, they have one of the best in baseball, Buzz, and he's going good right now. He's off to a great start in the month of August. His last start, he pitched 7 innings, didn't give up a run, and had a no decision. But in his 3 starts, he's 1-0. His ERA is 1.29. That pushes his overall ERA for the season below 3, around 2.95. So as the season goes on, get into the dog days of August, looks like they're not dog days for him. He's getting stronger as the season goes on.
Well, he is. He's barking for a lead here tonight, too, and the Rangers will try to give it to him. Jurix and Profar and company, the young and the old of it, head out to try to wrap up this homestand on a winning note. Astros and Rangers starting lineup. And the first pitch coming up right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Don't miss the Ford Summer Spectacular featuring blockbuster deals. Now playing at your best in Texas Ford dealer. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. And by Progressive. Visit Progressive.com today. Well, great evening here for Ranger baseball. Derek Holland and the skipper going through well, they're not superstitious. They just did that a couple times. Holland and the Rangers won, and they don't want to take chances. And before we get underway, here this evening on a great night for baseball, let's go down to the field. Allie Lucia is standing by. Allie?
Thank you, Buzz. Derek Holland looking for win number 10 on the season tonight, and I talked to him about the importance of this game. He says he's not changing his approach, but he says that down the stretch, these games are becoming more and more critical. Now, I talked to the skipper, Ron Washington, and he says with Derek on the mound, we can count on him.
And I certainly wouldn't want him to put any more emphasis on tonight. And then when he would pitch his next time out, it's a game. You go out there, you prepare, and you focus, and you do what you have to do and let the results happen the way they happen.
That is tonight's Geico quote of the game. Holland still looking for a win at home. His last win at home was back in May against Kansas City. Buzz?
All right, Allie, thank you. It's been a long dry spell at Rangers Ballpark for Derek Holland, but the way he's throwing now, he will just turn that right around and get things done here this evening. Well, the Rangers come in with an opportunity to advance their lead. The Oakland A's lost this afternoon to Seattle by a 5-3 count. So the Rangers, as of the first pitch tonight, have a 2-game lead over their Western Division rival, the Oakland A's. Well, a chance down to make it 2.5 games with a victory here tonight, and they would close off this homestand with a W and make it a 5-3 stay here at home before they head back out on the road. Now the Astros starting lineup tonight is performed by Mo Porter. Robbie Grossman leads off. He's in left field. L.J. Hose is in right. Jose Altuve bats third, plays second. Jason Castro, the catcher. Chris Carter plays first again. He bats fifth. Matt Dominguez is at third. Max Stassi with his second major league start. The DH once again. Brandon Barnes in center and batting ninth, the shortstop, Marwin Gonzalez.
And we'll look at the Progressive scouting report for Derek Holland. Got a fine record, 9-6, 2.95 ERA. His ERA is now 7th in the league. Left-hand hitters, 174 in the last 11 starts. It was 344 in the first 14 starts. That's dramatically changed. 168 innings pitched. That's the 8th most in the American League. So you've got a young left-hander who's becoming a workhorse as far as innings pitched. His ERA is 7th in the league, and at times he's been dominant. 7th most strikeouts in the American League to go along with it.
Well, Derek Holland taking on the Houston Astros tonight. The Astros came in having lost 2 straight. They are still a pretty good run on this road trip. They are 4-4 on a 8-game trip. And here's the Rangers defense. Greg Gentry is in left field tonight, getting the start out there. Martin in center. Alex Rios in right. Baker the start at first base. Kinsler Andrews up the middle. Beltray at third. A.J. Brzezinski catches Derek Holland. The umpiring crew tonight, Lance Barksdale, who usually has a fairly good-sized strike zone, calling the balls and strikes. Vic Carapazza at first. The crew chief, Gary Cedarstrom, at second. And Kerwin Danley is down the line at third. Well, the Astros come in 5th place in the AL West. They are 31.5 games off the pace set by the Rangers. And Derek Holland's first pitch is a belt-high strike to Robbie Grossman. Grossman at .265, 3 home runs, 16 driven in. Chopper out to short. Elvis plays the big hit on to Baker. So 2 pitches, 1 away for Derek Holland and company. And L.J. Hose will come up. 92 degrees. Excuse me, Tom.
Go ahead, Buzz. Go ahead.
Game time. Just going to let folks know that it's a very comfortable 92.
Yeah, it's 92, but it doesn't feel 92. It feels great up here in the booth.
A little bit of a breeze coming out of the southeast. I mean, straight in from center field, and maybe with the hint of a jet stream turning back around to go the other way. First pitch to Hose is a little bit low for ball 1. L.J. Hose, a .296 hitter with the Astros. Looks at a strike on the inner part of the plate to even the count. Hose, who came over from the Orioles in the deal that was made right at the trade deadline. But Norris going over to Baltimore, and Astros getting hosed. That pitch fouled away to the right. They feel like he could possibly be an answer for them going forward. He had good ability and hit well at AAA. Having a good road trip for them, that's for sure. Hitting .414 on this current trip away from Minute Maid Park. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Holland to the wind. And the pitch is lined to center field. That sends Leonis Martin back, but he has a play slightly into the right center field alley, puts it away. There are 2 gone.
Garrett's only had 1 start this year against the Astros. That was 11 days ago at Houston. He had a no decision in that game. Pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 runs. His last 10 starts, he's 4-2 with a 2.28 ERA. So he's been on a really nice roll. Didn't have anything to show for his last start against Seattle. He pitched 7 innings, gave up 2 hits and no runs. Ended up with a no decision in that game.
First pitch to Altuve is lashed foul down the right side, back into the club level seats. It's 0-1. Altuve, a .275 hitter. He has been in a pretty good downturn, as you can see during this current road trip. A 182 mark for the little second baseman.
Well, we don't see him a lot, obviously, but he looks tired to me. He's getting a lot of fastballs, and he's fouling 5 or 6 of them a game down the right field line foul. And I think earlier in the year they might have been pitches that he was lining into fair territory. Bat looks a little bit slow.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, Altuve, pretty much an everyday fixture in the Astros lineup. He really is the cornerstone for the top of the order for Bo Porter's club. Holland's 1-2 pitch. And a tapper foul. We'll try it again. And going forward, Altuve still a young man at 24 years old. He really is the guy the Astros have locked up now to a long-term deal. So the first one of what Bo Porter would hope would be many of their young stars that they identify as the people they need to keep. Ground ball wide of third. Beltre gobbles it up. On to Baker. Quick 1-2-3 inning. 12 pitches for Derek Holland. And the Astros are gone. 1-2-3. Half an inning in the books. Astros nothing. Rangers coming up. Texas Rangers starting lineup tonight, delivered to you by Fred Loya Insurance. Leonis Martin leads off. Elvis Andrus is next. Then it's Ian Kinsler. Adrian Beltre plays third, and that's cleanup. A.J. Brzezinski is catching. Alex Rios in right. Jeff Baker in the game at first base, batting 7th. Jurickson Profar is the DH, and Craig Gentry is batting ninth and playing left field. Now, Leonis Martin getting set to step in to start things off here tonight against the left-hander Eric Bedard.
And we'll look at the scouting report for Bedard. He's pitched better than 3-9 might indicate. He has not pitched well on the road, however. Pitched way over 2 runs better at home than he has on the road. And he's
fastball.
Geez, that ball was way inside.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he's a guy that can strike you out, too. Almost 10 strikeouts per 9 innings in his last 5 starts. Since he returned to the rotation in May, in 17 starts, his ERA is .384. So he's a very competent veteran left-hander that generally makes it a close game.
And it seems like, Tom, we were talking about this earlier. He usually pitches well against the Rangers.
He seems to.
Pretty solid outings. He's had a couple of rough ones over the years, but generally he's had some real dandies too. And you go back earlier when he was with Baltimore. There's a strike to Leonis, and it's 2-1.
His last start against the Rangers in Houston, he pitched a nice game that day. Pitched almost 7 innings, gave up 3 runs on 7 hits. Generally, I think he's held the Rangers to a run total that has made it a low-scoring, close game.
And the fastball is at the upper reaches of the strike zone. 2-2. Leonis not particularly thrilled with Lance Barksdale's call, but you might as well get used to it because Barksdale calls a strike, and he has a pretty big strike zone. There's that number 4 up there right at the upper limit of the strike zone, maybe even a little bit out of it. The 2-2 pitch. Out of play.
Better swing at that one.
Saw the numbers for Leonis. 6 home runs, 31 driven in. Had 1 day off out of the leadoff spot since Ron Washington put him there some 21 games ago. Rangers are 17-3 in his 20 efforts out of the leadoff spot. That pitch spins him around. The count has gone full, so Leonis Martin trying to get aboard for Ron Washington's club to start things off. He'll be followed by Elvis Andrus. Bedard to the wind, the left-hander. Deals the payoff pitch, and that's fouled back. So already, Leonis able to extend this at bat to at least 8 pitches. Not that you're going to run Bedard out of gas here in the first inning, but you can certainly send a message.
He could start it in the right direction, though.
Putting a few extra miles on him here early. Again, the 3-2 is on the way. And another foul ball. Now, Bedard, the veteran, overall in his career against the Rangers, 5-5 with a .355 earned run average. This is his 19th start and his 20th game overall. Left-hander works again on 3-2. And another foul ball. Well, this is going to turn into at least a 10-pitch at bat for Leonis Martin.
I would think, Buzz, as a pitcher, it's definitely not what you want in the first inning on a 91-degree night to have to throw 10 pitches. And no guarantee you're going to get them out.
Right.
Especially if you throw ball 4 right here and walk them on 10 pitches.
Now, it doesn't get to the point where you say just throw it down the middle and say, here, hit it. But you almost are tempted to do that. Another 3-2 pitch. Got him swinging. A little over anxious. Going upstairs after the off-speed pitch. And Leonis Martin gone on strikes. 1 away for Elvis. We'll take a look at the Houston defense behind Bedard tonight. Grossman in left, Barnes in center, Hoses in right. Carter at first, Altuve and Gonzalez up the middle. And to make this the third, Jason Castro behind the plate. And the veteran Canadian native, Eric Bedard, is on the hill. Elvis at 257 as he steps to the plate against Bedard. 0-1. Elvis, you can see, has not had good career numbers against Bedard. One of the right-handed hitters the Rangers have that really hasn't fared very well against the left-handers. Little chopper down the third baseline. It's going to go foul as Dominguez catches up with it about 65 feet from home plate. And we'll come back and try it in an 0-2 count. Elvis brings in a 4-game hitting streak to this contest here tonight. They've gone 5 for 15, as those numbers tell you, over those 4 games. A double, 3 runs driven in. He has been right in the middle of a lot of Ranger action. Last night, 1 for 3. He scored a run in that game, too, and had a stolen base. The 0-2 pitch on the way from Bedard. Loop to right field, hose toward the line, and in some. 2 gone. Well, Elvis skies out, and with the bases empty now, Ian Kinsler will come up. Well, the Rangers trying to get their home record to the same level their road record is. They are now 37 and 27 at home, which is 10 games over 500, the same as their road record. Road record 36 and 26. For a while, the road record was better than the home record. Well, Ron Washington seeing his ball club now start to put things together here in their own ballpark. Kinsler hitting at 269 as Bedard deals. Hit to left field and hit well. Grossman going back at the track, reaches up and hauls it in. Ian didn't quite get all of it as Grossman able to run that down, and the Rangers are gone in the first inning. We played one in Arlington. No score between the Astros and the Rangers. A scoreless ball game. Before we go to the top of the second, let's welcome in Jim Knox. Jim?
I appreciate it, Buzz. Look at this little Ranger fan. How are the chips? Pretty good, huh? Yeah, all right, there you go. Community Corner tonight. We want to say thank you to all the Ranger fans last night for helping out in a big way, donating a lot of money to help the tornado recovering victims from Oklahoma and Texas. It's not too late to donate. Log on to foxsportssouthwest.com for $25. You can choose between a T-shirt or dog tags. That's foxsportssouthwest.com. Buzz?
Noxie, she's trying to give you one of her cookies.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Very good. Thank you very much.
That's great. Noxie's taking the girl's food. What is the deal here? Jason Castro starting off the top of the second inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. The count to the Astros catcher. Castro, a .270 hitter. He had 14 home runs, 46 driven in. Holland back to him, and the pitch fouled away. The count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Castro, you remember on Monday night, was the DH, and then after Carlos Corporan had to go on the disabled list, on the concussion disabled list, Castro's caught the last 2 games. Holland back to the plate. Reaching, and Castro hits it pretty well to right field. Rios going back. It is off the wall and out of here. Just reached over the wall, and that ball carried. There is a jet stream tonight. Castro with a home run, and the Astros lead 1-0.
Yeah, it looked like he got out in front of that ball and hit it okay. And I guess he didn't hit it great. It just went to the, not even to the front row of the right field seats, but he got an off-speed pitch, maybe a high changeup. Hit it well enough to just sneak it out of the ballpark. Right off the facing of the front row.
Well, the Astros with their 123rd home run. For Castro, his 15th home run. 357 feet, the estimated distance on that home run. Here's Chris Carter. And he takes the pitch just off the inside corner. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's only the 13th home run that Derek has given up this year. Last year he gave up 32, so he's dramatically cut his home runs down. And we mentioned how well he has pitched to left-hand hitters in his last 11 starts. They're hitting below 200 against him. Well, that's a rare occurrence. Number one, for him to give up a hit to a lefty and to give up a home run. Just has not been doing that very much this year.
Misses high, and the count goes to 3-1 to Carter. Well, Derek trying to regroup after the Castro home run. Has fallen behind the slugging first baseman. Matt Dominguez, the third baseman, will be next in the order. 3-1 pitch is pop foul. That will run the count full. Carter hitting just .213, but he leads the ball club with 23 home runs and 63 RBI. He's had a good road trip and a couple of home runs. He's driven in 9 in the first 8 games for the Astros. Gets fisted with that fastball and fouled it straight back. It's still a 3-2 count. Holland to the wind. Again, the 3-2. Got him swinging. He had a changeup and had Carter way out in front of him. Well, Holland comes back from being down on the count to get the strikeout. 1 away from Matt Dominguez.
He got back in the count with his fastball, and then really nice change of speed right there. Had Chris Carter well out in front of it.
So now on, we'll go to work against the Astros' third baseman. Dominguez, 17 home runs. That is 17th off of Travis Blackley in his Ranger debut last night. Only runs that Blackley gave up in his 4 innings of work. Dominguez with 62 runs driven in. High in the air to right field. Backpedaling a bit with room, though, as he stops. Alex Rios puts it away. That is out number 2. Now Holland will deal with Max Stassi. 22-year-old catcher who was called up yesterday and made his major league debut and got his first 2 major league hits last night. Stassi at Double-A Corpus Christi. He's hitting .277. He's a catcher by trade. He had 17 home runs and driven in 60. 1 ball, no strikes. Holland back to the plate. Chopper slowly hit on the left side. Beltre cuts it off. And that'll do it. Baker makes the play, and Jason Castro gets the Astros on the board against Derek Holland, the home run. After 1.5, it is 1-0 Houston. Park in Arlington for the first time.
Glad you're here.
AT&T Twitter poll tonight. The question would be, who do you consider the ace of the Rangers pitching staff? You go to Twitter, and your choices are Yu Darvish, Derek Holland, and Matt Garza. If you think it's Darvish, it's hashtag FS Darvish, or hashtag FS Holland if you think it's the left-hander, or hashtag FS Garza for Matt Garza. Well, there are two of the three right there. The other one's a little bit busier tonight. Working here, and Adrian Beltre trying to get busy up the middle. And, boy, that got a piece of Bedard. It bounces almost into foul territory.
Oh, that didn't hit his foot. That's got to hurt because that thing was a rope.
Now, the way it bounced back, it almost looked like it hit the rubber.
Well,
rubber.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, he sure didn't react very much.
No. Bo Porter and the trainer going out there very quickly to check on their veteran left-hander who has a kind of a wry smile on his face. I think he knows he may have escaped major injury.
Not to hit him in the shin. I don't think he'd be chatting with a smile on his face right now. Either that or he just has a high pain tolerance and doesn't want anyone to know that it hit him.
Yeah.
Or doesn't want Adrian to know that it hurts. Let's take a look. Did it hit the heel of his foot?
Looked like it might have come up off his right leg. Yeah, I thought it's. Yeah,
I think it is.
I think it did.
Hit the shoe of his right foot, which cushioned the blow enough to where it looks like he's fine. That's when you hope that doesn't carry him right straight to the third base. There it is.
Yeah, right off the shoe.
Right straight to the third baseman for an out. The ball was headed into center field.
Going to have one of those pitching toe and put on the heel of the shoe too, instead of just on the front part. So a base hit for Adrian Beltre. One on, nobody out. Here is A.J. Przinsky. Not exactly the guy that Bedard wanted to see. Here's Bedard right after getting hit. He's, quick feet.
He was doing what Beltre does at the plate. Beltre saying, why don't you jump out of the way?
1-0 the count to Przinsky. Could be a double play out to Altuve. Back to first. And the double play, 4-6-3, and that erases the leadoff single. And there are now 2 outs here in the second for Alex Rios. Not your normal occurrence when Przinsky faces Bedard. Przinsky came into that at bat hitting .474 against the left-hander. But that one turned into a double play. So now Alex Rios comes up, base is empty and 2 outs. .276 the average for the Ranger right fielder. All the way to the backstop on the first pitch. It is 1-0.
AJ on the season coming into the game tonight and over 100 at bats. A .305 hitter against left-handed pitching. He's hit higher against lefties by quite a bit than he has righties.
Rios has had good success against Eric Bedard over the years. Takes that pitch inside. It's 2-0. Rios 10 out of 33. See that .303 mark with a home run against Bedard. Left-hander reading the signs. And into the wide he goes. The 2-0 pitch. Now 3-0. Well, Bedard being very careful with Alex Rios. He's got another tough right-handed hitter, however, in the on-deck circle. That'd be Jeff Baker. We mentioned Rangers have really had good luck, or good success, that has been luck, against left-handed starters. 3-0 pitch is right down the middle. Rangers have won 6 straight in games that were started by a left-hander of the opposition. In the last 15 ball games, they have won 11 of those, 11-4. Now the 3-1 on the way. 3-2. Rios with a dozen home runs this year. Alex has driven in 3 since donning a Ranger uniform. He has 58 for the season. Bedard with the payoff pitch. High ball 4. And Rios draws the 2-out walk. And it'll give Jeff Baker an opportunity to swing here in the second inning. First walk issued by Bedard. Jeff Baker comes to the plate in kind of a mini slump for him. Just coming off the disabled list after the time that he spent on the DL. He has not swung the bat quite as well. He's just hitting .241. That encompasses 14 games. Big slow hook hangs outside. 1 ball and no strikes. But overall this year, looking at the entire body of work, he's hitting .348 against left-handers. You see the last 9 games, just 2 for 15 with 6 strikeouts. Rios with good speed at first. And Baker a swing and a miss on the high fastball. Baker, 9 home runs for the year. 8 of them have come against Southpaws. Castro going through most of the signs. Bedard has one that he wants. And a breaking ball hangs outside again. 2-1. One thing we found out about Eric Bedard, with age, he has not sped up his game at all. If anything, he's slowed down, and that's not good. Fastball inside corner. Baker kind of a quick glance back to Lance Barksdale, who said, yep, that was a strike. 2-2 the count. Left-hander set, a check of Rios at first. And a breaking ball that runs the count full. Well, Bedard being very careful to both Rios and Baker. And rightfully so. If Baker prolongs the inning, Jurickson Profar, the switch hitting designated hitter tonight, will be next. Astros leading 1-0 on the strength of Jason Castro's home run in the second inning. Bedard a check of first. The payoff pitch. Inside ball 4. And back-to-back 2-out walks. Runners at first and second for Profar.
Well, after the double play, you've got obviously 2 men out, and there were no one on base. A couple of walks gives Jurickson a chance to dump a little single in there and tie this game. Got to take advantage of what you get. Nice opportunity with 2 walks.
Castro out in front of the plate, throwing out some defensive signs for his infield. Profar steps in, batting from the right side. He has runners at first and second. Rios out there at second. Baker at first. Both aboard via the walk. Profar, a .241 hitter. Bedard, a high set, and the first pitch is inside corner for strike 1. Jurickson starting to swing the bat better from the right side. Still a pretty good difference right-handed to left-handed. 60 points. As a right-hander, he's now up to an even 200. Left-handed, 260. Bedard ready. 0-1 pitch. Drops that big hook in there, and it's 0-2. Profar 0 for 2 in yesterday's ball game. Last 10 ball games, Jurickson has dropped down to the even 200 mark. He's gone 7 for 35. Trying to pick up at least Rios from second. 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, laid off that breaking ball. 1-2 now. For Profar, despite the little downturn, he still hit safely in 13 of his last 17 games. Runners in scoring position that average some 35 points higher than his overall average, so that's good. 7 out of 19, 7 out of his last 19 with runners in scoring position. Chance to do some damage here. 1-2 pitch. Call strike 3. Profar caught looking, and that will do it. So the Rangers get a couple on, leave them aboard on walks. We're going to the third, 1-0 Houston on Fox Sports Southwest. FansMLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Rangers baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and a lot more. Just text At Bat to 31826 or visit TexasRangers.com for details. Brandon Barnes starting off the Astro third, and the pitch fouled back. He's very quickly down on the count to Derek Holland and no balls and 2 strikes. Barnes overall a .230 hitter. 6 home runs, 27 driven in. Holland to the wide, the 0-2 pitch. 1-2.
Yeah, one thing with Lance Barksdale, the home plate umpire, he's an umpire that probably you would say favors the pitcher. And as the game goes on, the hitters realize that if those pitches are close, they're going to have to swing at them.
And Barnes swung at that one without success. That is the second strikeout for Derek Holland in the changeup.
Yeah, both strikeouts came on the same pitch, same location. Good changeup. After seeing some fastballs, he was well out in front of it.
Now let's take time very quickly. A Mazda game break with Dana Larson. Dana. All right, Dana, good news there.
Thank you, Brendan Ryan.
Yeah. Rangers now with a 2-game lead, trying to extend it another half game. They can do that with a win tonight. There are the updated standings in the AL West. Seattle 14 games back. They have, Ranger fans will remember, been playing good baseball since being here and then going to Oakland. Pitch is high to the #9 hitter, Marwin Gonzalez. Well, he's ahead in the count, 3 balls, no strikes. Gonzalez a .225 hitter. On base percentage of just .245, and Holland throws a strike to make it 3-1. Derek back to the plate. Toward the line in left field, Gentry gliding over underneath it. And Craig puts it away. That is out number 2. Good job by Holland to come back and avoid a walk that would have been very bad.
Yeah, he's a guy you don't want to walk for sure. Got a little bit of speed to go along with it.
But Derry came back from a 3-0 count to get the fly ball and the second out. Now Robbie Grossman will face Holland for the second time tonight. Grossman began the game by chopping out to shortstop. So 0 for 1 tonight. Brings in an 8-game hitting streak into play here this evening. Boy, it has been a bunch of streaks for him. A butt that's going to twist foul. Just caught the grass and had enough side spin on it that Adrian Beltre able to allow it to get on the dirt and spin off into foul territory.
Yeah, generally a ball will stay fair down the third baseline. That ball just had so much spin on it. There was no way it could stay fair.
Kind of a little Massey shot down there, like off a pool cue.
You see the spin on it. Look at that spin.
Wow.
There's no way that could stay fair. Without the spin, it just rolls right straight down the line. And that has to do with the angle of the bat when it made contact with the ball.
The 0-1 the count to Grossman. You remember when the Rangers visited Minute Maid about 9 days ago. Grossman came into that series with a 10-game hitting streak. He has had to put together a couple of streaks since coming back from AAA for this second time. Takes that pitch at the knees. It is 0-2. Matter of fact, Grossman has hit in 19 of his last 22 games since being recalled back on the 27th of July. Down in the count here, Holland. Back to the plate. Off of his glove, deflected toward Kinsler. Tough play for Ian, but he makes it.
Nice play.
Nice play for Kinsler to redirect himself on the deflection off of Holland's glove and then make a quick, accurate throw with the bare hand. Well, the side retired in order. We played 2.5. Astros 1, Rangers 0 on Fox Sports Southwest. Just some high, wispy clouds floating by overhead. Rangers trailing 1-0. Craig Gentry starting things off here in the bottom of the third inning, and Eric Bedard goes up and in for ball 1. It'll be Gentry, Martine, and Andrews, the first three to do the swinging against Eric Bedard. Hits are even in this ball game. The only hit for the Astros, however, a solo home run by Jason Castro. And the pitch low and away. It is 2-0. Gentry 0 for 6 in his career against Bedard. With that average on the rise for Craig, up to 247. Remember when he came back off the disabled list, it was down around 215. He takes that pitch Low and outside, and the count is 3-0.
I think the other thing, Buzz, that Craig is becoming is one of the Rangers with a better eye at the plate. He makes you throw strikes, which certainly adds to his on-base percentage and gives him a chance to run the bases.
3-0 pitch right down the middle. You saw that average, the batting average since coming off a disabled list, 333. And I agree with you, Tom. He's kind of figuring out the strike zone for himself. Cut down on some of the wild swings that he had earlier. 3-1 pitch from Bedard. That ball is hit well to left center field. Way up the alley. Going back is Barnes. Goodbye. Wow. Craig Gentry teeing off on a 3-1 pitch. Drives it into the Astro bullpen. And we have a brand new ball game. It is 1-1.
Can we talk about his power? I don't think Craig's ever hit one there before. He's hit a handful of home runs. I would guess most of them have been pulled down the left field line, but that's out there where the big guys hit them. Well, he gets a pitch to hit, and shows he's got a little more power than you might think. Right down the middle of the plate, and he launched that one.
A 1-1 game as Gentry is his second home run of the year. And Leonis Martin trying to bunt it, but a good job by Bedard to bounce off the mound and capture that before it could get by him. Another look at the tail end of Gentry's home runs. 3/4 of the way back to the bullpen. You remember in spring training we were talking about Craig Gentry, Tom, that he said that hitting coach Dave Magadan had gotten him to go ahead and let the bat go a few times. And he hit a couple of home runs in spring training. He said, yeah, Magadan kind of instilled in me that I can do that. I do have some power. Instead of just trying to slap the ball the other way, he said every once in a while you pick a pitch and let it go. And
that's a good one to do it on. At 3-1, you're getting a fastball. He does not want to walk you. Not going to throw you a breaking ball, so get it geared up.
A strike to Elvis.
He threw it right down the middle of the plate to him.
412 feet later, it came down. Elvis 0 for 1, a fly ball to right. He's going to bunt. He pushes one toward Carter at first. A little too hard, though. And Carter will
not going to challenge the big guy.
Going to chase him back to the dugout.
You got me. I want no contact with you, big fella.
Well, both Martin and Andrews trying to bunt their way aboard and couldn't quite get it done. So bases empty, 2 away for Ian Kinsler.
It's a good idea if it's not bunted quite so hard. Make him go a little bit more towards second and then beat him to the bag. But there was no path to first base after the big guy fielded it.
He's been around Adrian Beltre picking up some of those. Having a good time playing the game. First pitch to Ian. And the breaking ball comes in the back door. It is 0-1. Ian flied out to deep left field back in the first inning. Bedard back to the plate. 1-1 the count. Kinsler having a good road trip. Ian is a .320 hitter, as those numbers would tell you. He has driven in 6 in the first 7 games that he has played on this homestand. I think I said road trip. It's a homestand. This is Wednesday, so it must be a homestand, I guess.
Must be a homestand.
Yeah.
They just shifted all their infielders over and must have forgot to move over there on the first 3 pitches.
I've seen that happen a couple of times now to Kinsler, and the way he swung the bat this year, I don't think that's necessarily going with what he's doing this year. He's been hitting the ball to the right side on a lot of occasions. He's ahead in the count now, 3-1. You see all 3, the 2 middle infielders, Altuve and Gonzalez, and then Dominguez, the third baseman, all on the third base side of second. 3-1 pitch from Bedard. Chopper right down the line. It is foul.
Whoa.
And I don't know how in the world that was foul, but Kerwin Danley throwing up his hands immediately said foul ball.
That was foul. It was foul all the way because when it bounced, it almost hit the chalk. Generally, the ball is going a little bit right to left, which would have indicated it would have gone over the bag before it hit. We'll get a good look at it right here. That's a fair ball.
That's fair ball, yep. When it goes over the bag, that's a fair ball.
That's a fair ball.
But in Kerwin Dantley's defense, he's backing off the line a little bit as he's trying to make that call.
He doesn't have our view.
No. Again, the 3-2. That's line to left field. Shift or no shift. That's headed toward the corner. Cut off by Grossman. Kinsler puts the brakes on as Grossman makes a strong throw into second base. Ian settles for a single. Boy, he ripped that toward left field.
Well, with 2 outs, he wants to go for 2 if he can. And he went about as far as you could go and then stop and go back without getting thrown out going back to first base. Inside fastball, and he really ripped this ball. The ground ball, if it was called fair, would have been a double. But that's a nice play by Grossman to go over and come up and make a strong throw to make Ian go back to first base.
So 3 hits now for the Rangers. And the man with the other hit, other than this inning, at the plate now, that's Adrian Beltre. Off speed and in the dirt. Nice stop by Castro. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Beltre hit a smash right back up the middle that glanced off the right shoe of Eric Bedard, or somewhere down there. First time up, ended up being an infield single. So Kinsler at first. 2 outs here in the 3rd inning. Rangers have tied it up on Craig Gentry's home run. Adrian Beltre looking to untie it. Off speed. That gets the inside corner for a strike. Well, the Coors Light cold hard fact of the night. Adrian Beltre, a .364 average against Western Division teams and .295 against the rest of Major League Baseball. Interesting.
I'd be extremely happy with the rest of Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Cold hard fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And you wouldn't be alone. There'd be a lot of guys that say $2.95. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yep. Miguel Cabrera might not take it.
Yep.
Joe Mauer might not take it. A few others, but most everybody's going to take that.
Yeah, the list of guys that wouldn't is very short, though.
Yeah. Like before the season starts, you got it. $2.95 after 600 at bats. Will you take it? Not many people are saying no to that.
Bedard to check with Kinsler. He has a big lead this time. 1-2 pitch hit hard by the dive of Dominguez into the corner. Kinsler around 23rd. He's being waved home as the ball gets by Grossman, and Ian will score standing up. And Beltre puts the Rangers on top 2-1.
Grossman did a great job of holding Ian to a single, and he got over there quickly, and probably, if he fielded it cleanly, would have kept Ian from scoring. But for the Rangers, a nice break when the ball kicked off his glove and gave Ian that extra time to be waved home by Gary Pettis. High breaking ball right down the middle of the plate. Adrian takes advantage of it, hits it by the 3rd baseman Matt Dominguez, and the Rangers pick up another run. Not sure whether that'll be ruled a double and an RBI all the way, or whether it'll be ruled an error.
Yeah, that would be the question. So far, we have received no word, but we'll read the official score, checking things out. It's going to be a double, regardless, for Beltre.
Just a question whether you get the RBI,
yep.
I guess.
So A.J. Przinsky up there with Beltre at second, and he chops one to first. That's an easy play for Chris Carter. And the side retire, but the Rangers strike early and strike late. The leadoff home run by Gentry. The double with 2 outs by Beltre. 2 runs across. We're going to the 4th. Rangers lead by 1. Ford Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Don't miss the Ford Summer Spectacular featuring blockbuster deals. Now playing at your best in Texas Ford dealers. And by Jack in the Box. Go big with Jack's really big chicken combos. Now Derek Holland now with a one-run lead with which to work. Rangers came back with 2 to answer the single run in the second put up by the Astros. And L.J. HOU starting things off, takes strike 1. HOU is a fly ball to center the first time up, and he lines one right back through the middle.
Turn that fastball around.
HOU's with a solid base hit to center to open up the fourth.
Showed a quick bat right there.
Second baseman Jose Altuve.
Dave Clark, the first base coach, talking to L.J. HOU. And we've got Jose Altuve coming up. And the Astros, as we talked about during the last couple of series, have started to be more aggressive on the base paths. And this would be an opportunity with HOU's at first, Altuve, who handles the bat well, at the plate and nobody out. Altuve, a ground ball to third. Back in the first inning. Out of play down the right side. I don't think Altuve has seen a pitch he hasn't swung at yet.
Well, that's where most of them have gone, too.
Yeah.
Down the right field line like that, over the dugout, toward the dugout.
Altuve is 6 out of 34 on this road trip. That's a 175 average. Rolled over on a Beltre, cuts it off, goes to second. That's one. Back to first, not quite in time. Boy, a good effort by Beltre and Kinsler to try and turn that over. And they almost got it done.
Yeah, it was one of those balls you just hope they can get one at second base. And came pretty close to getting 2.
Yeah, 1 out, 1 on. Let's go over and say hello to Jim Knox again, Jim.
I appreciate it, Buzz. Before the game, this was the scene. The Fox Sports Southwest Fan Express rolling in from Fort Worth, and on board a ton of charter employees. That's right. And, of course, they had to bring the big VP of Operations, Chris Allen. Chris, you guys have a good ride over. Nice short ride. Enjoying the Ranger game, right?
Yeah, it's a great way to come to the ballpark. It's a beautiful night. It's dollar hot dog night. We're just really excited to be here.
Right, anything else we could do to make your job and make your ride more comfortable for you?
Well, hey, if we do this again, if you get Beltre just to drive the bus for us, that'd be great, man.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, I don't think that'll happen. We'll see what we can do. Good to have you out here, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the game. Buzz?
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, I don't think that's happening, but that's a good idea.
You find someone named Beltre. It might not be Adrian, but might be Ronnie Beltre.
Billy Beltre. Jason Castro at the plate. 0-1 the count, and Holland will go to work on Altuve at first base. Castro lit up Derek Holland for a home run his first time up. Kind of reached out and almost one-handed a shot to right field that carried out of here. So 15 home runs now, 47 RBI for the Astros catcher. He's one of the better looking hitters that you're going to see too for the Astros. He got a good swing. Got some pop, as you can tell. 32 doubles this year too, and that's slugging percentage for him, 457, second among American League catchers. Holland okays the sign. He's ready for the 1-1 pitch. They've got Altuve. Baker, the throw down to Elvis, the tag, and he's out. Altuve going on first move, and Derek Holland made him pay for it. So 1-3-6 on the putout, and the bases are empty.
Altuve's a good base stealer. He's 30 out of 38, so he's, as you already mentioned, Buzz, he's a definite threat to go, try to make something happen, but Derek was ready for it.
So Holland now with the bases cleared of opposition. We'll go back to the windup. The 1-1 pitch. Little lip line drive that Beltre moves to his left and grabs. So that'll do it for the Astros. The leadoff single turns into nothing. Good job by Holland and company. We played 3.5. It's the Rangers 2, the Astros 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. Folks, we'd like to invite you to tune in each Saturday morning at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest for Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. That's a good-looking hat. I like that. You see those things out here almost on a growing basis every game, it seems like. That's great. Making some memories that'll last a lifetime out here at the ballpark. Rangers leading 2-1 as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Alex Rios to start things off. And the first pitch from Eric Bedard is a knee-high strike. Rios drew a walk his first time up there. Bedard walked a couple, then was back-to-back in the second inning. It didn't turn into anything for the Rangers. Pitch inside. 1-1. Rios finishing up his first homestand with his new ball club, and he'll head back with the Rangers on Friday to his old stomping grounds up at U.S. Cellular Field, take on the White Sox over the weekend. 1-1 pitch from Bedard. Now 2-1. Rios and A.J. Pierzynski, a couple of guys going back to face their old club for the first time in Chicago. The 2-1 now. Chopped up the middle. Gonzalez plays a nice short hop and on to first. Rios retired, one away for Jeff Baker. The Rangers able to do some damage against Bedard in the third inning. Craig Gentry had the leadoff home run. Then with 2 outs, Kinsler's single. Adrian Beltran hit a shot right down the third baseline that was scored a single. The ball got got off the glove of Robbie Grossman. That allowed Ian Kinsler to come around to score. The Rangers putting the 2 on the board in the third inning and had that 2-1 lead. 1 ball, no strikes. That ball right in by the shoes of Jeff Baker. Baker also walked his first time up. Baker 3 out of 13 in his career against Eric Bedard. Left-hander winds and deals and fires a strike to even the count. Lefty righty breakdown for Jeff Baker. 348 as we mentioned, with 8 of his 9 home runs against left-handed pitching. It's out of play to the right. It is 1-2. Rangers, we also mentioned to you, entering a stretch where they're going to face 4 left-handed starters in a row. With this and then the 3 games in Chicago. Chris Sale, Hector Santiago, and John Danks. The 3 starters they will face for the White Sox. Breaking ball inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And there's a possibility they could make it 5 in a row if Joe Saunders starts the first game in Seattle against them. They got lefties coming out of the woodwork. 2-2 to Baker. Chopped foul, the fastball, and Baker fought it off far into the Astros dugout. Still 2-2. Rangers as a team starting to tune things up, especially here in this home ballpark of theirs. They're now 4th in the American League in home batting average, up to 269. And they have seen a resurgence here at home the last month and a half or 2 months. Pitch inside, the count has gone full now to Baker as Bedard tried to get him to swing at the off-speed pitch. Baker trying to get aboard with 1 out. Jurickson Profar, the Ranger DH, will be next. Bedard peering in for the sign. Goes to the wind, the payoff delivery. Rolled weakly out to short. Gonzalez throws him out, 2 gone. Well, folks, tickets for groups of 20 or more start at only $11, and they offer savings of up to 50%. Group pricing is available in 7 different seating areas, plus the all-new, all-inclusive center field railing. Learn more about group savings offered for every Rangers game at TexasRangers.com. A pair of ground balls to short here in the fourth, 2 away, and Jurickson Profar, who was called out on strikes, takes a breaking ball that dips a bit low for ball 1.
A little late getting to the birthdays today, Buzz. Irma Dubose from Jasper, 100 years old. John McElroy from Wills Point is 92. Jim Perry from Wiley is 93 years old today. And we'll get to the rest of them after our visit from Mac.
LJ Hose takes care of that, and the Rangers go quietly in the 4th inning. 1-2-3, and we're going to the 5th. It is the Rangers 2, the Astros 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. The Rangers take a 2-1 advantage into the top of the 5th inning, and joining us now, I would say as always, but last night was a little bit different, Mark McLemore, Rangers live co-host. And Mac, we missed you last night, but a good cause. You guys had a great turnout over there at Captain Morgan Club for that live auction.
Definitely a good turnout, and definitely a good cause. There were so many people that came out and lent their support, and it was just great to see.
And you got a chance to visit with a lot of the folks I know over there that came in from the various parts of the tornado devastated areas, up both in the Moore, Oklahoma area, and of course down here in the Granbury area, and looked like a lot of awfully thankful folks that came by to say hello to you.
Very, very thankful folks, and you know, it was just devastating, the things that they were going through, and just listening to some of the stories, just can't imagine the heartache they've been going through and continue to go through.
1-1 pitch to Chris Carter is a bit high. 2-1. And again, our thanks to all of you. Last night, the total of over $164,000 donated, bid on prizes, and I should say on packages. Just an outstanding turnout, and we can't thank you enough. Appreciate everybody's participation and continued support for the folks. Certainly, if not by donating more, certainly the prayers in your hearts for the folks that are in such need because of those storms. Chris Carter is 0 for 1. He has a 3-2 count on him now. Carter struck out his first time up. Derek Holland with the payoff pitch on the way. Call strike 3. And Lance Barksdale staying pretty consistent with that generous strike zone, wearing him up.
Yeah, that's been a strike all day long. There's been a number of pitches right here called a strike. Is it a strike? Yep, right on the inside corner. Just barely touching the corner. Sometimes that's not called a strike, but technically it is, and Lance Barksdale likes to call it.
Holland with his third strikeout, 1 away. And he will face Matt Dominguez, who fly to right field. Shoots that first pitch foul down the right side, back into the seats. Mac, the Rangers bouncing back after what I thought was a tough loss Sunday. A game they didn't play well, but were still in. And normally, if you can win a game like that, it makes you feel real good. And you lose a game, you say, we didn't play very well. We just kind of gave that one away. But they bounced back to play well against the Astros in this series.
They really haven't. They've been doing that all year long. This team's gone through controversy, distraction after distraction, and they're still going out there and playing well on the field. And they're playing well when it counts.
The thing I like about it too, and we talk about this, but sometimes it's hard to really put a face to it, is how well this ball club gets away from worrying about injuries and things they can't control, and focuses on what their task is at hand, and that's today's game or tonight's game.
They are very, very good at it. Wash does a great job keeping them focused. And, this is a veteran team now. Even though there's some guys that are on the team that are young, they've been through it.
Dominguez a drive down the left field line. It hooks and goes foul.
Got that off-speed pitch up a little bit. The home run by Castro was a high off-speed pitch. Luckily, Dominguez pulled that foul.
But that changeup, huh?
Yeah. Pretty much. I think that's the same pitch that Castro hit as well.
So still 1-2, and Holland back to the plate. This one popped up. Foul territory. Baker coming down the line from first, making the call and the catch. And Dominguez is out number 2. So 2 away, and let's take a look at tonight's Ford leaderboard for you. Now, how about the best records in the American League? Just a half game separating the Tigers, the Rays, and the Rangers, and the Red Sox. Now, that's bunching it up pretty well. Four pretty good teams. There's been some pretty good separation there in the last several weeks, but all of a sudden now you're getting down to toward the final month of the season, and teams starting to put things together. They know what's going on, and darned if the Tampa Bay Rays don't find a way to get right back in the mix.
It's incredible what Joe Madden does with that team. Every single year they'll lose key players, and lo and behold, you roll around August, September, there they are.
Yeah, you look at them in May and they're floundering, 4 or 5 games under 500. Nothing's going too terribly well, and this year David Price on the DL, and say, write them off this year, not so fast.
And Matt Moore's been on the disabled list too, so it's not like they haven't had their share of injuries. The one thing they do when they lose somebody, they replace them. If it's a pitcher, they replace them from their farm system. They need a little more power in the lineup. They made a big trade this year. They know how to run a franchise, boy.
1-2 pitch to Matt Stassi is just inside. Stassi a ground ball to third. Mac in the second inning. Yeah, the big trade they made over the winter, getting Will Myers, the young outfielder, to come in from Kansas City. Let James Shields and Davis head up. Wade Davis head up there. They brought in a guy that they needed. They needed some offensive help, and they went out and got it.
And not many teams can trade 2 key pitchers from their starting rotation, or in the case of Wade Davis, then the bullpen, and then end up better off with the guys that you replace them with from the minor leagues, and that's pretty good.
Payoff pitch, got him swinging in the dirt. Brzezinski throws right by the ear of Matt Stassi. It's a 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts for Garrett Holland. We're halfway through the ballgame tonight. The Rangers leading the Astros 2-1 on Fox Sports Southwest. Well, folks, this September, Metro PCS is giving your child a chance to take outfielder David Murphy to school. And for show and tell, it'll be great. Just log on to MetroPCSTakeAPlayer.com for your chance to win. Metro PCS, wireless for all. Well, the Rangers leading 2-1. Craig Gentry, the man who began the third inning by blasting his second home run of the year deep into the Astros bullpen, leading off here in the fifth. The appeal down to first, and with that right-handed Vic Carapaza shooting up in the air for a strike. It is 0-2 to Gentry. How about the power of Craig Gentry driving that ball out to the bullpen?
Very nice. He looked like a big fella out there swinging that ball, swinging that bat.
Yeah, Tom was saying normally you think you have to pull the ball, but no, I can handle that. 0-2 pitch. Waited nicely on the breaking ball to foul it off. Still 0-2. Gentry now with 17 RBI this year. That batting average of .252 as he faces Bedard for the second time tonight. Rangers 2 runs on 4 hits. The Astros have been limited to 1 run on 2 hits by Derek Holland and company. Again, the 0-2. Just inside. A ball and 2 strikes. Our AT&T Uverse Rewind. And here it is, in case you missed it. Holland on a 3-1 pitch, Gentry on a 3-1 pitch. Bang, right off the back wall out there on the shortstop. 412 feet after it left the bat. Came down in the Astros bullpen. Gentry back in. A ball and 2 strikes to count. Greg trying to get aboard to start the Ranger 5th inning. Bedard again spinning a pretty good ball game against the Rangers. Way inside, 2-2. Go back to when Bedard, before all the arm problems set in, when he was with Baltimore. Back in 04, 05, 06, 07. He had a couple of games in this ballpark. Struck out 15 in one game and a 2-hit shutout complete game. Gentry chopping that foul. Greg being a pretty pesky hitter right here. But Bedard, well, for a stretch of about 3 or 4 years there, one of the best in all of baseball. He had a great fastball, and he still had the same kind of curve, but it was about 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, a little more of a power curve ball back then.
Gentry again waiting for the 2-2 pitch. Just got a piece of that in and out of the glove of Jason Castro. Well, Gentry making Bedard work to start this 5th inning off. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Get an idea of where Bedard has located the first 8. Left-hander peering in for the sign. And now Gentry says enough. Now the left-hander ready to go to work. 3-2. Gentry trying to get aboard to start off this inning. It takes the Rangers back to the top of the order. Hopefully with Gentry aboard. Leonis Martin waiting in that on-deck circle. Gentry taps the plate one time. Back up there. Waiting for Bedard. 3-2 pitch is on the way. Breaking ball high and outside. Ball 4. And Gentry with his good speed is aboard for the leadoff walk.
One of those at-bats we were talking about when Martin led off the game by seeing 10 pitches. Not only do you work the pitcher for 9 or 10 pitches, you end up getting on base. Very frustrating for a pitcher.
Yeah, and it probably has a bigger impact now, Tom, than it would have earlier in the game. He's already gotten up over 70 pitches.
Yeah. And then the guy you walk one of the fastest runners on the team, too.
Sure. Well, the Rangers have something good going here. The top of the order, and you have Gentry at first with his good speed. Martin 0 for 2 tonight. Tried to bunt his way aboard last time. There goes Gentry, and the pitch fouled away to the left. The hit and run was on. And we'll reset and try it again. Martin has to swing the bat. He had the open hole on the left side of the infield. And just was a little late. Gentry, into the Rangers, 40 stolen bases since the All-Star break. That's the most in Major League Baseball. Well, it's a running game that had been there the whole time, just wasn't utilized the same way.
They got 30% of them almost in 2 games in Anaheim.
That's right. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, that's a lot of fun when you can get on and you've got the personnel to steal bases, and then you can actually do it. That's a lot of fun. That's we used to call it a track meet.
Yep.
Just pass the baton, keep going. It just puts a lot of pressure on the defense. You know, they don't know what they can do. They don't know if they can get you. The pitcher's thinking about not only the hitter, he's thinking about that guy at first base.
Exactly. And this little throw there will drive Gentry back. Now, there's nothing worse for a pitcher anyway to have somebody fast at the plate or fast at first and a good hitter at the plate, because you know very good well if you don't focus on keeping the guy close to first, he's stealing second, and if you don't focus on the hitter, he's going to take you out of the yard, and you're in between a rock and a hard spot.
I just love that.
Yeah, I know you do. Well, you should. You should. And it becomes pretty apparent, doesn't it?
It does.
Guys, when you see that other team do that.
And you know the guys that get rattled.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed getting on base and rattling those guys. And they knew that you knew.
Right.
And that would get, some of those guys would even get visibly upset on the mound, and then they're all out of their game.
And they knew there was nothing they could do about it to stop you. That was even better. 2-1 the count. Pitch to Martin, fouled back. And it evens now at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Remember Chuck Finley with the Angels?
Yeah, sure.
Chuck was a teammate of mine for many years, and Chuck had a deal when, he'd come set. Chuck was tall, 6'6", 6'7", wasn't very agile around the mound, but he would give it away. He had a terrible move to first base. He'd come set, and he's going home every time. He'd take a deep breath, and he would go home. And there'd be times I'd be on first base and kind of just start to chuckle because, okay, you know he's going. And, the coaching staff finally got him to try and stop, but he couldn't stop doing it.
Huh.
So the league pretty much ran rampant on him.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Gentry inching off the bag at first. Bedard's pitch. High and tight. Boy, Martin almost walked into that pitch. Kind of runs the count full. So with nobody out, Leonard Martin trying to keep that track meet going to get aboard along with Craig Gentry. Elvis Andrus waiting in the on-deck circle to be next. Eric Bedard in a very unenviable spot if you're the opposition pitching against the Rangers right now. You'd imagine Gentry will be moving on the 3-2 pitch. He's going. The pitch outside, ball 4. Now there's a case of Bedard feeling he had to hurry his delivery to home to even give Castro a chance to throw him out if he gets a strikeout. Back-to-back walks, and before Andrews comes up, take time for a Mazda game break with Dana Larson. Dana? All right, Dana, thank you. 4,000 hits.
Incredible. Incredible.
It's a whole lot of work.
Wow.
You know why it's a lot of work? He had to beat out about 1,000.
I knew you were going to.
Oh, good point, Tom.
No, you can't. You get 4,000 hits. I don't care if you have to beat out all 4,000. That's pretty remarkable.
Hey, you got to use what you got. And
Exactly.
use those little wheels on him, I'll tell you.
Were you in spring training when he first came to Seattle?
I sure was.
I remember reading accounts where Lou Piniella said, is he ever going to hit the ball to the right side of second base in batting practice?
I'll tell you a true story. I'm sitting right there in the dugout. You know, he was lining foul balls into our dugout. We were on the road somewhere, and he came up to the top step and said, son, you got to pull the ball. You got to hit it over there. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't pull the ball, or didn't. I won't say couldn't. He just didn't. He was just working on going, hit the ball to shortstop, third base. And the very next day, he told him, he said, listen, this is the big leagues. You got to pull the ball in this league, son. And Ichiro said, okay. That game, spring training game, he went deep twice. The second time he went deep, Lou said, okay, that's enough. Take it in. Took him out of the game, told him going in. That was it. And, he was just working on going the other way. As we all know now, he can pull the ball when he wants to.
Yeah.
But he did look bad those first couple of games.
Elvis around to bunt again and takes it high. Yeah, I remember Lou tell me that story. He said he took him out of the game because he was showing up the manager. Said all you guys on the bench were laughing at him.
Oh, we had a blast.
Because you knew the story behind it. And Lou in his own right was a great hitter when he played. He was one of the best right-handed hitters for a while in the American League. And he appreciated the art of hitting. But I don't think he really understood it with Ichiro what that was all about. He'd never seen anybody hit like that.
No, I don't think anybody had seen anybody hit like that. And, Lou loved to talk hitting. I mean, that's what he did. He talked hitting, and the lack of pitching for a lot of years in Seattle, but he still talked hitting. So he loved it.
Yep. Well, action out of that bullpen. David Martinez, who was called up just yesterday from AAA, starting to get loose. Bedard getting up toward the 90 pitch mark. He had not had particularly high numbers of pitches until this inning, and the 2 walks to start things off, and he had to throw a lot of pitches to walk Gentry and Martin. Now he's got a 2-2 count on Elvis, who has fouled off the last bunt attempt. We'll see again if he tries to bunt with 2 strikes on him. He did the other day. Now Bedard steps off. Elvis, and I believe it was Sunday afternoon's game where he missed 2 bunts in a situation just like this, where they needed the sacrifice, and squared around and put down drives this one to left field. Grossman is going back. He's at the track, leaps up against the wall, and makes the catch. Tagging at second and moving to third is Gentry. Leonis Martin went halfway, so he can't advance, but what a play by Robbie Grossman, picking that right off the out-of-town scoreboard.
He's hit 1 home run this year, and it was in Houston. If he hit that same ball in Houston, that would have been a home run too. Both on off-speed pitches. He drove that ball pretty nicely. He didn't get the bunt down, but that long fly ball gets Gentry to third base anyway. See Grossman staying with that play, making a pretty nice play.
Yeah, I thought for a second when Grossman went down that Gentry might try to score.
He was thinking about it.
He rounded a little bit. He thought about it.
So now runners at the corners with 1 out. So he got half the sacrifice done. You got Gentry over 90 feet. Ian Kinsler, who is 1 for 2, steps in. We'll see if Martin has larceny in his heart over there at first base.
I'm pretty sure he does, and I think he's going to take care of the second part of that.
Bedard's pitch. 1 ball, no strikes.
And this is where it gets tough for a pitcher, because now you've got the middle of the lineup coming up. He's trying to do a slide step to keep Martin at first base. Well, you're going to lose a little bit of something, and you're facing a guy who can hit 30 homers, and the next few guys that can put the ball in the seats.
And Ian is swinging it tonight too. You can tell by his approach that he is feeling it. Hit the ball hard his first time up. Grossman took an extra base hit away from him and ripped a double down the left field line his next time up.
56% of the time, Ian has gotten that runner home from third with less than 2 out. Greg Gentry at third base. He walked, went to second on the walk to Leonis Martin, and advanced on the long fly to left field. You can see Martin with 27 stolen bases. 77% success rate. Breaking ball didn't quite come in the back door. It's 2-1. So Ian, a .270 hitter now after his single last time up. He came around to score on the Adrian Beltre single and the error by Grossman in left field. That was back in the third inning. Chance here to get the Rangers on top by at least 2 as Bedard sets and checks Martin. Inside, it's 3-1. And boy, Bedard really digging himself a hole now. He's behind Kinsler, 3-1. He's got Adrian Beltre waiting in the on-deck circle, and he may not face Beltre if he loses Kinsler. Bo Porter looking on and nervously working that gum over. Jason Castro is going to give the defensive signs in case Leonce Martin takes off. 3 balls, 1 strike. Bedard is set. Line drive, base hit to center. Gentry will score, stopping at second. Martin. Ian Kinsler comes through with the RBI base hit. The Rangers lead 3-1.
That's a very confident approach that Ian has tonight. He's not just trying to slap the ball up the middle. Boy, he is going up there to rip it because he's seeing it well. He's feeling good at the plate. And he just really had the feeling that Bedard, if he throws him a strike, doesn't have a pitch that he can get him out with tonight.
Nice short, good stroke.
Beautiful.
So after Kinsler's single, Rangers with a 2-run advantage, and Bo Porter out to the mound. He's going to ask for the ball from Eric Bedard, and that's going to do it for the left-hander. So Bedard leaves trailing 3-1. Just 1 out here in the 5th inning. 2 runners aboard are his responsibility, and David Martinez, the young right-hander, will come in. So with a pitching change underway here at Rangers Ballpark, we'll take a timeout. Back after this on Fox Sports Southwest.
To 1, bottom of the 5th. The Rangers for the next month have every Thursday off, and I talked to A.J. Brzezinski about how important that rest will be down the home stretch.
When you get off days, you have to take advantage of them. And a lot of them are spent traveling or doing something, but it's still nice to be able to relax and get away from baseball and think about something else. So we cherish the off days, and we look forward to every one you can get. I know when you go 20 straight days without an off day, when you get one, man, it feels nice. So it'll be good to get them, and the more we have, the happier it makes us.
Rangers trying for a win tonight before the off day tomorrow. And Buzz and Tom, I'm thinking 4 off days means 4 golf days for you guys. What do you think?
That sounds great, Allie.
We'll make a try.
Yeah. Now the Rangers mounting a charge here. They have scored a run. They have runners at first and second. One out. Adrian Beltre will face David Martinez, who was just recalled from AAA day before yesterday.
He's got some pretty good numbers between AA and AAA. 14-3 with a 2.20 ERA.
And the first pitch is high. Looked like a slider. 1 ball and no strikes.
Even after being in AAA for a while, he still leads the Texas League in wins and ERA.
Martinez, a 26-year-old from Venezuela. He goes 6'2" and about 220 pounds. He spent the majority of this year at AA Corpus Christi and then was moved up to AAA just before his recall. Spent a lot of time developing at the Venezuelan Summer League Astros team down there. About multiple hit games. Adrian Beltre, the best in the American League with 50 multi-hit games. That pitch low and inside. It is 2 balls and no strikes. But Beltre trying to make it a 3-hit night. He has singled each of his first 2 times up. Got Martin at second. Ian Kinsler at first. Situation like this last night, the Rangers put the double steal on. 3-0.
Well, this would probably be Mac, the kind of guy you might want to do that against, a young guy who can't be coming into the game in his first appearance thinking about the base runners.
No, he's definitely thinking about Adrian Beltre.
Yeah.
I don't want to make a mistake to this guy, and then all of a sudden that windup slows down just a little bit. And if you get him early at first or second pitch, you'll really rattle his cage.
3-0 pitch, and he throws it right down the middle, or somewhere close. 3-1. Well, this is David Martinez's major league debut tonight. I didn't throw that in there, but first time the young man has pitched at this level. His first game, and not a real great spot for him to come in, but if you're going to come in, you might as well make it worthwhile.
And this is really the time to get him.
And the breaking ball he's able to throw on 3-1. 3-2 down to Beltre. Well, Adrian up there with a full count. 2 on and 1 out.
I'm sure Dave Anderson over there at first base is well aware that those last 2 pitches that he's thrown, he slowed his windup down just a little bit. So he's already relayed that to Kinsler and Martin out there.
Both of them edging off their respective bases. They're on the move. 3-2 pitch, grounded to third. Dominguez goes to the bag for 1 across the diamond. And the 5-3 double play helps David Martinez and the Astros escape further damage. The Rangers come up with a run. They had a hit, a couple of walks, and strand 1. Matt, thanks for joining us. We will look for you after the game on Rangers Live. 3-1 Texas. Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by the all-new Mazda 6. When you change everything, you change everything. The Rangers take a 3-1 lead now into the top of the 6th inning. Derek Holland back to the hill. Holland's allowed just a 1 run on 3 hits. The run coming on Jason Castro's leadoff home run in the 2nd. Holland has retired the last 4 hitters he has faced. I think that the last 5. And he will face the number 8 hitter in the Astros order. That's Brandon Barnes. Barnes, a strikeout victim, as he led off the 3rd inning. Leading off the 6th there against Derek Holland. A very modest pitch count, just 63 through the first 5 innings. This is inside for ball 1. Holland back to the plate. It's a knee-high strike.
Sorry, we're a little bit late getting to the birthdays tonight, but I'll sneak through them this inning. A lot of people wait to hear those. We have 6 tonight. Irma Dubose from Jasper is 100. John McElroy from Wills Point, 92. Happy birthday. Jim Perry from Wiley is 93. Lydia Heinrich Buxkemper from Slayton is 91.
Got him swinging in the dirt, and Brzezinski tosses on down to Jeff Baker at first. 5 strikeouts now for Holland.
Yeah, 3 out of the last 4. Joe Barnett from Amarillo, 96. Naomi Jackson from Grand Prairie, 98 years old today. Rachel McAdams from Irving was 90 yesterday. Sorry we missed that, Rachel. And we have 1 wedding anniversary. Brian and Bonnie Dennis from San Antonio celebrating their 65th wedding anniversary today. Congratulations and happy birthday to all our 90-plus birthdays today.
First pitch to Marwin Gonzalez, high and away for ball 1. Gonzalez got ahead in the count 3-1 the first time that he faced Holland, then flied out to left field. So he is 0 for 1. Holland back to him, and Gonzalez pops one down the left field side. That's going to reach the seats, out of the reach of Elvis Andrus over there to check it out, but halfway back in the lower seating bowl. Elvis making some new friends over there while he has a chance. Grab a handful of popcorn and head back to shortstop.
I think it was Pudge that did that down the right field line here one day. Maybe Will Clark might have done it too.
Holland's 1-1 pitch. Line down the left field line. It is a fair ball and into the corner. Gentry over to dig it out. Gonzalez steaming into second with a 1-out double.
That's a pretty nice job of hitting right there by Marwin Gonzalez. That was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball in on the fists. And he turned on it, hit it pretty well down the left field line. For a guy hitting 225, took a pretty nice swing at that pitch.
Able to not hook it very much, able to keep it fair by quite a bit.
I think if you're Derek, you say, okay, that's feeling pretty good about this pitch.
Yep.
Until he swung at it.
You mark that down as you probably don't want to come in on the plate to a guy like that for future reference. So Gonzalez at second now, 1 out. Robbie Grossman for his 3rd at bat. And Holland starts him off with a knee-high strike. Grossman has grounded out twice tonight. Last time up, he carroned one off of Eric Holland's glove and took Ian Kinsler making a nice barehand pickup and throw to get him at first. Hard hit ball. Beltre knocks it down. Scrambles to his feet and throws him out. Oh my goodness.
That was a bullet, boy. That's why they call it the hot corner, as we like to say. That thing got there in a hurry.
Elvis giving him a little bit of grief about that. Well, you don't see it much better than that. The 2 outs now. And here is L.J. Hose, and he hits one right down the line, but that goes foul over the bag at third.
If that was fair, he would have caught that too.
Probably. most likely. He's something. Adrian Beltre, and he's won the Gold Glove the last couple of years, the Platinum Glove, which denotes the best defensive player at any position in the American League. 0-1 pitch. That's up and into Hose. Hose hitting a 301 as a member of the Astros. Got Marwin Gonzalez at second. 2 outs here in the Astros 6th. And that fastball tailed back to the inside corner. Good two-seam action in Holland. The advantage in the count now at 1-2. Hose getting a little bit better with runners in scoring position than his overall average, but having a good year both ways. Holland trying to deal with him here. Gonzalez at second and 2 away. 1-2 pitch. Now 2-2. A.J. Przinsky flashing out the series of signs. Derek nods in agreement and sets. Just missed low and in. Tried that comeback fastball again, and the count now has gone full. And you've got L.J. Hose, a right-handed hitter, hitting second, to be followed by another right-handed hitter, Jose Altuve. Crowd starting to come to life here as Holland gets ready. Payoff pitch, inside and low, ball 4. Holland went with a breaking ball, and Hose wouldn't offer. For Holland, the first walk that he's issued tonight. The runners now at first and second for Altuve. Brzezinski going to go out and make sure that Holland, after being careful, doesn't lose his aggressiveness. Well, folks, the Sports and Highlight Show you've been waiting for is here. Jay Onright, Dan O'Toole anchor Fox Sports Live, joined by Donovan McNabb, Gary Payton, Andy Roddick, and Carissa Thompson. They'll bring you everything you need to know about the world of sports. Fox Sports Live airs nightly on Fox Sports 1. A 2-on, 2-out. Altuve has grounded out twice tonight. One ball, no strikes, as Holland left that up out of the strike zone. Altuve, as you can see, a 274 hitter as he faces Holland here in the 6th inning. Hit well to left field. Gentry is going back. Still going back. Reaches up and holds it in. Craig Gentry, a great jump on the ball. A line drive over his head, and he outran it to the warning track. Side retired, no runs, a hit and a walk. We're going to the bottom of the 6th. Rangers by 2. and dinner for two at Sonic Drive-In. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Stephanie Gibson from Ennis. And if the Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Stephanie Gibson from Ennis will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. The Rangers throwing out some great defense tonight to back Derek Holland, and the offense has made some noise against Eric Bedard, the departed starter, now facing David Martinez. Came on to get the last 2 outs of the 5th inning. A.J. Przinsky takes a fastball in there for strike 1. A.J. grounded out twice tonight off Bedard. Once into a double play. Swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch. 0-2 the count. Martinez reading the signs. Well, A.J. tired of waiting, so he backs out. Last 10 ball games, A.J. really swinging the bat well. Pulls it on the ground. Altuve playing a deep second base. He has to come straight in toward home plate. And A.J. is retired. First out here in the 6th inning. And Alex Rios now will come up. David Martinez, you mentioned, making his major league debut. And throughout the minor leagues, he played 4 years down at the Venezuelan Summer League Astros team before he came over to the United States. Astros signed him in 2005 as an undrafted free agent. One 1-0 the count to Rios. Good off-speed pitch. And Martinez with a count even at 1-1. Alex 0 for 1 tonight. A ground ball and a walk. Toward the hole. Jump hop, and it's off the glove of Dominguez and out into left field. Well, Dominguez, pretty good hands at third, but not quite good enough to handle a hop like that.
That would have been a test for Adrian. Just came up a little higher than I think any third baseman would have expected it to. That's top spin on it, it looked like. Might have hit the edge of the grass and the dirt, too. Tough to tell.
Well, that's going to be ruled an error, and I don't...
that's a tough error right there.
It is. I think that's one that'll be changed.
I use pencil so I can erase if I have to, but I've already got hit written down.
So 1 on, 1 out, Jeff Baker. 0 for 1 tonight. There goes Rios. The pitch is low. No throw to second. Looked like Castro couldn't get the handle on the ball, and he just had the ball stick in his hand as he went through the throwing motion. The stolen base for Alex Rios, his 30th of the year.
Yeah, he's got good instincts. He got a good jump right there. Castro's got a great arm, and he's very accurate. But he would have been tested to throw out Alex.
Rios now tied for 4th in the American League with those 30 stolen bases. Pitch to Baker is inside. It's 2-0. Jeff, a .295 hitter, trying to pick up another run for the Rangers. They lead 3-1. This is a ball club in Houston. If you allow them to stay around late in the ball game, you never know what's going to happen. Chopper foul. I think that's pretty much true of young ball clubs. You may be much better than they are on paper, but if you let them stay in the game, keep it a close game until you get in the 6th, 7th, 8th innings, you need to shut them down because any spark can really set them off and they can come back and bite you. 2-1 as Martinez checks second. Chopper foul outside third. Note on Alex Rios' stolen bases. That's the 3rd time that Rios has eclipsed the 30 steal plateau. Did it also in 2008 and 2010. He's in scoring position with 1 out here in the Rangers' 6th inning. Martinez to Baker. Now 3-2. So Jeff trying to get aboard to join Alex Rios. Baker will be followed in the order by Jurickson Profar, the Rangers DH. Three balls, 2 strikes. Martinez to the plate. Got him swinging. Fastball fouled into the glove of Castro, and Martinez a big strikeout. His first punch out of the night and of his major league career. 2 away. And Profar coming up.
It looks like a pretty good sinker ball pitcher. This ball has some pretty good movement. It's 92 miles an hour, but really good sinking action. Jeff swung over the top of that ball, and great location with it as well.
Profar now will try and pick up Alex Rios. Jurickson tonight has struck out and fly to right field. Both those at bats were against the starter, Eric Bedard. Time called and a new baseball put into play. Profar waiting, now batting from the left side of the plate against the righty Martinez. 1 ball, no strikes. Rangers 4-3 in the first 7 games of this 8-game homestand. Split the 2 games with Milwaukee and then lost 2 out of 3 to Seattle. Castro going to go out and say something to Martinez along with the shortstop. Marwin Gonzalez going to come in. The Rangers trying to turn things back around, get them back on the positive roll. The 2 out of 3 that they lost to Seattle, you say, well, they were in all the games, and very true. The offense, with the exception of the 15-run game on Saturday night, kind of took a couple of games off, but they were throttled by some pretty good Seattle pitching. Ron Washington has seen his club, though, win 17 out of its last 21 ball games. This is just the second time that the Rangers have won as many as 17 in a 21-game span. Now we're set to go. Martinez ready for the 1-0 pitch to Profar. Now 2-0. Jurickson waiting patiently as Martinez reads the signs. He sets in a check of Rios. Ground ball pulled weakly to first. Hart Carter will win the race to the bag against Profar, and side retired. So the error allowing Rios to get aboard does no damage. 1 left and going to the 7th. 3-1 Texas. leading 3-1. They have out hit the Astros 5-3. Derek Holland, only one runner to second base since Castro's home run, leading off the second. Meanwhile, Craig Gentry, a solo blast, a walk, and 2 runs scored. So Craig having a big night. His start in left field this evening. Mitch Moreland has entered the ballgame to take over defensively at first base. We just had a scoring change. The error taken away on the ground ball by Alex Rios that went off the glove of Matt Dominguez. That's changed to a hit.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yep. So. And here is Jason Castro to start things off, and a line drive up the middle, and that got Derek on his bare hand. Glanced off him, and we'll have to see how much damage that might have done. Maybe Reed out there very quickly. Either his hand or his arm, it glanced off. It wasn't a solid blow. It did glance off, but the ball coming that fast, and you take a look at it, he's showing Jamie Reed the forearm.
Well, I'd rather have it be the forearm than the fingers or the wrist. Doesn't seem too worried about it.
About the only good thing from a pitcher standpoint about that is you don't have enough time to have any fear getting you when the ball's coming at you. It just happens too quickly. It'll be about 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up in a cold sweat. And say, you know what? That thing almost got me in the head.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse for sure.
Yeah, you see it glance right off the forearm there, just below the elbow. Boy.
Well, the Astros only have 4 hits, but they've been hit hard. L.J. Hose hit almost the same ball back through the middle in the 4th. Castro hit a home run. Marwin Gonzalez had a double down the left field line.
Joaquim Soria out in the Ranger bullpen getting loose. Holland going to throw a couple more pitches, or at least one more. Throw the breaking ball, make sure he's got decent feel for it. And he has convinced Ron Washington and Jamie Reed and Mike Maddox that I'm okay. But seriously, about 3 o'clock in the morning, Derek's going to wake up and says, holy cow. That thing almost got me. So Castro, the leadoff single. And Chris Carter now coming up. Carter has struck out both times that he has faced Derek Holland tonight. Holland set the first pitch. And he hits the inside corner with that good fastball.
Yep, still got 94 miles an hour after 83 pitches.
Carter went down swinging in the second. He was called out as he led off the 5th for the Astros tonight. Rip and a foul back. And the count moves to 0-2. Carter, who came over from the Oakland A's in the deal that sent Jed Lowry to the Bay Area. Inning by inning breakdown. It's been a very consistent night for Derek Holland. And I guess the word consistent is something that pretty well has defined Derek Holland's work for the last several months. Been a very consistent performer. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Carter.
Well, his numbers pretty much speak for themselves. He came into the game 8th in innings pitched. If he pitches 7 or 8 innings tonight, he's going to be only a few innings away from the leaders in innings pitched. Top 10 in strikeouts, top 10 in ERA.
The 1-2. Now 2-2. Saw the league leaders in the strikeout department, and with 170, Carter out in front of everyone else by a dozen or more. 2-2 the count as he faces Derek Holland. Castro away from first, and the pitch low and inside. Just can't get Carter to swing at that breaking ball, and count now has gone full. So Derek Holland putting himself in a situation that you don't want to be in with a 2-run lead. You don't want to give a guy with Carter's power the ability to look for something out over the plate. Holland ready. The payoff pitch. Inside, ball 4. And that puts the tying runs aboard. Nobody out here in the 7th inning. And Derek Holland goes from 0-2 to losing Chris Carter.
He tried to get the fastball in twice, got it too far in, tried to get him to chase a slider down and in twice, and he didn't even flinch. Had struck him out the first couple of times, once on a really good changeup down and away. That time Carter was patient, earned the walk.
Second walk given up by Holland. The second walk on the last 4 hitters, as a matter of fact. So 2 on, nobody out. Matt Dominguez is the hitter. Rangers don't believe that Dominguez is going to be asked to bunt, and certainly with 17 home runs, you would figure that that would be the case. Dominguez tonight has flied to right and popped to first. And Holland again missing inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Castro establishing his lead from second. Carter away from first. The 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes.
He's trying to throw in like he's been doing most of the game, but he's just pulling it too far inside 4 straight times.
It's like Derek is getting one of those modes where he's speeding it up a little bit for himself. Trying to get the ball and throw it. I'm going to slow that down right here a little bit. And ball 3 is low and inside.
From 7 straight balls.
Yep. You got to be careful here. Dominguez, no automatic 3-0 take. Not with the home run power that he has. That'll load him up. So a hit and back-to-back walks. 3 Astros aboard. Max Stassi coming up, and he will not face Derek Holland, I don't believe. Ron Washington out there. He has made the call to the bullpen, so that's going to do it for Derek Holland. Driven from the game after the line drive off the bat of Jason Castro, ricocheted off his forearm, and then Derek Holland just completely lost control of the strike zone after getting ahead 0-2 to Chris Carter. So he will leave with a 3-1 lead. The base is full. Nobody out. Joaquin Soria coming on. We'll take a timeout. Be right back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. $1,000 lives. Just 1 pint of blood donated can save up to 3 lives. And fans have saved 200 lives so far, so we only need 300 people to hit our goal. Please come out this Friday to either the TCU Recreation Center in Fort Worth from 6 to 11 a.m. or the Longhorn Harley-Davidson in Grand Prairie from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and help us save 1,000.
Well, tough job for Joakim Soria. He's coming in with nobody out and the bases loaded and not much margin for error. Rangers clinging to a 2-run lead.
Max Stassi, the hitter, and Soria misses outside to him to even the count, and a ball and a strike.
Probably one of the toughest situations that Joakim has come into recently with a game on the line. He's had some comfortable outings, but this is a tough one right here.
Not much margin for error whatsoever. Got Castro at third, Carter at second, Dominguez at first. Tried the outside corner and just missed it. It is 2-1. Stassi 0 for 2 tonight. He has grounded a third and struck out. Max Stassi, the 22-year-old, playing in his second big league game up there in a tight situation. Fouls that out of play to the right. And the count evens to him at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Soria would love to dial up a strikeout right here. Strikeout, pop up. Rangers would even take a ground ball at a middle infielder. Get a double play and limit the damage. 2-2 the count as Soria sets. There's the ground ball to Kinsler. To Elvis. Back to first, a double play. The run scored, but 2 huge outs. It's now a 3-2 Ranger lead. On to third goes Carter, but the double play lessens the chance for a huge inning.
Yeah, that's the key. Reduce the odds that you're going to give up a big inning. You feel like you've got the better team, feel like you've got the better bullpen. So even if they tie the game, it's not the end of the world. But a base hit, a walk, and a potential big inning, then you risk not being able to come back and losing the ball game. So you'll take a double play for sure right there.
So Bo Porter going to the bench. Brett Wallace, left-handed hitting infielder, will come off as a pinch hitter for Brandon Barnes. So Wallace, a .222 batter, up there with the tying run just 90 feet away, 2 outs in the 7th. And the first pitch to him is a breaking ball that's inside for ball 1. Wallace started at first base in the first game of this series. 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter this year. Fouls that out of play to the left, and the count evens at 1-1. Wallace at .222, so his .277 average, some 50 points higher than his overall average with runners in scoring position. Soria trying to deal with him here with 2 outs and the Rangers leading by a run. Big breaking ball, and it just missed the inside corner.
Couple of close pitches there for a 2-1 count.
And ball 3 is inside. Well, Wallace now the advantage in the count. Wallace hitting in the number 8 slot. Marwin Gonzalez, the switch hitting shortstop, waits in the on-deck circle. Carter, the runner at third. Soria sets. And inside, ball 4. That puts runners at the corners, and it will bring up Gonzalez. Soria.
Well, yeah, Joaquim's being careful. He's thrown 6 out of 10 pitches out of the strike zone, but he threw 1 big pitch to get the double play. Probably looking at Wallace as a little bit more of a dangerous guy. He's got some power than Gonzalez, even though Gonzalez doubled right-handed his first time up. Hasn't hit quite as high left-handed as he has right-handed.
So Gonzalez steps in. He will turn around to bat from the left side against the right-hander Soria. 1 for 2 tonight. Both those at bats were against the left-hander Derek Holland. And a strike from Soria. 0-1. Gonzalez at 228. See the Astros 236 for the year. No luck tonight. They have Carter though at third base. Chop foul, and Soria now with the 0-2 advantage in the count. So Joaquin trying to shut the door on the Astros here in the 7th inning. And this crowd, nice crowd out here on a Wednesday night, trying to get behind their hometown Rangers. 0-2 as Soria peers in for the sign. The right-hander set. Pitch on the way. Little tapper. Beltre charges, throws, gets him. Adrian Beltre, a difficult play, and he got the Speedy Gonzalez by a step. Side retired as Soria comes in and does a good job. A run on a hit and 2 left. Bottom of the 7th, 3-2 Texas. Fans, you can bring a taste of Rangers Ballpark to your next event with the Ballpark Express food truck. And choose from a preset menu, or you can customize your own menu from all your ballpark favorites. Visit TexasRangers.com/Ballpark Express for more information on how you can book the Ballpark Express at your next picnic or event. Now it's now a 1-run lead for the Rangers, 3-2. Texas leading, and Craig Gentry starting off the Rangers' 7th inning. It'll be Gentry, Martin, and Andrews to face David Martinez. Pulled into the hole. Gonzalez charges. Quick throw is off the mark. And Gentry going for 2 as Brett Wallace, the new first baseman, retrieves. But not before Gentry beats the play to second base.
Well, speed has been in the game tonight with Craig Gentry. He made a great play in left field because of his speed to take an extra base hit away. And now you see speed force that play by Gonzalez. He knows how quickly he's got to get rid of this ball with Craig running. He throws off balance and not accurately. Not sure whether that's a base hit or an error to begin with. It's definitely an error to let Craig get to second base. But that's speed and what it can do to an infielder right there.
Well, Gonzalez, boy, having to get rid of it quickly, like you were talking about, Tom, and just threw it away. So Gentry now in scoring position. Rangers trying to regain that 2-run lead.
And he's seen Gentry run, so if he makes an accurate throw, he's got him.
Yep.
So it does go as an error, but he had to rush it because of Craig.
Now time called, and Porter headed out to the mound. Looks like he's going out since there's nobody up in the bullpen. He's not going to make a pitching change, but he wants to make sure that everybody's together on what they're trying to do defensively. If Leonis Martin drops the bunt down, and I'm sure he's reminding him that, hey, when Martin bunts, make sure you get rid of it in a hurry. If you get there, it's not just a normal sacrifice bunt. Well, the points that he wanted to make are passed along, and now we'll come back and see what happens. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Leonis Martin has walked tonight in 3 trips to the plate. 0 for 2 officially. He has struck out also and tried to bunt his way aboard in the 3rd to no avail. We'll pick you up with the rest of the defensive changes here in just a moment. Wallace, the first baseman, creeping down the line from first. Good bunt down the third baseline. Going to be a tough play for Martinez. Now Altuve covering. And boy, that was a case in point right there. It's nothing sure about when Leonis Martin lays down a good sacrifice bunt that you're going to get him automatically.
Well, he laid down a great bunt for sure. And nice play by the young right-hander who jumped off the mound and made the play at first base. He had to be quick, had to be accurate. Certainly did that. He was ready for it. And you've got Craig at third. Good opportunity for Elvis. You've always got the squeeze play.
Yep.
You've got put the ball in play and get it in the air, infield in. A lot of ways to drive a ground ball through the infield, but want to get that run back, make it a 2-run game.
So here's Elvis. Gentry coming down the line at third. The infield played all the way in now. And a pitch out. Bo Porter kind of thinking along the lines that, hey, I've seen them do this before.
Yeah, the Rangers have done that enough. Wash loves that play. You certainly have to be concerned about it if you're the other team.
And he's liked to do it on the first pitch a lot of times. And that's where you got to be careful. You get a good look at the infield defense. Martinez from the stretch for the 1-0 pitch. And it's low. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Elvis looking for something up a little bit in the zone. He's going to make him try and get that sinker up where he can get it airborne. Drive it to the outfield. Elvis flied out to left field last time up. He flied out right to the scoreboard in left field. 2-0 pitch. Ball 3 is low. Well, Elvis eyeing the pitches closely, has not offered pitches that were just low from the strike zone. 3-0 the count. See if Martinez can throw him a strike. Squeezes on 3-0. The bunt is down. It is successful to throw to first, and Altuve makes the play, but Elvis Andrus on a 3-0 count. Well, the first pitch suicide squeeze isn't enough of a surprise. How about a 3-0 suicide squeeze?
That's a great call. I think you probably lulled the other team into believing it's not going to happen. And Wash went ahead and did it. Great play. Steal a run. An error. Move them over with a sacrifice bunt. Score them with a squeeze play. Pick up an insurance run.
Rangers get that 2-run lead back. It's now 4-2 Texas. And Ian Kinsler takes a breaking ball in the outside corner for strike 1. Gentry doing a good job delaying his break until Martinez had gotten into the motion a little bit. Towering fly ball left center field. Carter and Grossman. Grossman, the center fielder now, takes charge, makes the catch, and that'll do it. But the Rangers come up with an unearned run on no hits. We'll go to the 8th inning. It's now the Rangers 4, the Astros 2 on Fox Sports Southwest.
Welcome back to the ballpark. Buzz and Tom, time for the Progressive Fan of the Game. We have a couple of big-time Ranger fans come all the way from Japan, Uban Yubasa, and they came here actually to the ballpark in Arlington 1 hour before the game started. They flew in, and you guys actually thought who was starting tonight?
You, Darvish?
Okay, instead you got Derek Holland. He wasn't bad.
Yeah, he was really good.
All right,
Not
not
pretty
bad. And understand, here's the bag. Everything else is in the bag for you. Congratulations, Ranger Fan of the Game. Does Yubasa always smile the whole time? Has he been smiling the whole game?
Sleeping the whole game.
Okay, the whole game. There we go. All right, well, he's a happy Ranger fan. These guys having a good time. Anything else you like to say?
Darvish, gambare.
What does that mean?
Go, Darvish.
There, go. All right, he's pitching when, though? Saturday. All right, good to have you out here.
All right, Knoxley. The Rangers leading 4-2 now. Tanner Scheppers has come into the ballgame to take over in the 8th inning. And immediately, Robbie Grossman, the number 1 hitter in the order, leads off with a single to center field. He hit a bullet right back through the box. So Grossman reached Scheppers with that base hit. 1 on, nobody out.
Tanner's numbers on the season: 56th game for Tanner, 5-1 record, nice ERA, good opponent's batting average. Trying to get a double play grounder right here, just like Joaquin got last inning. Big play of that inning was that 4-6-3 double play.
First pitch to L.J. Hose is skied down the right side, and that will slice back into the crowd out of play. It is 0-1. Hose tonight 1 out of 2. Walked his last time up after singling in the 4th inning. Rangers 4 runs on 6 hits. They have played error-free baseball. Astros 2 runs on 5 hits. They've committed a pair of errors. Scheppers, a long look at Grossman. And the pitch. And Hose got fisted. Fouls that one back over the screen. It's 0-2. Hose checking with Dave Tremblay, the third base coach. See what Bo Porter might have in mind, although his options are a little bit limited with a count of 0-2. Grossman with good speed at first. And the fastball sails high. Scheppers worked in last night's ball game. Came in and threw an inning, gave up a hit, but that was it to the Astros. Back to the plate he comes. Fouled away. Still a ball and 2 strikes. Last night, Hose against Tanner Scheppers flied out to right field. Derek Holland started with the first 6 innings plus 3 hitters in the 7th. Joaquin Soria came on. And now Scheppers on the 8th. Could be a double play if Kinsler can turn it to Andrews. Back to first, they got him. Nice play, and started on a tough hop that Kinsler handled very quickly to get it to Elvis.
Well, Tanner gives up a lot of ground balls, and so there's always the opportunity. And that was nicely turned by one of the best double play combinations in the game. Kinsler and Andrus. A fairly hard hit ball, and I agree with you, Buzz. That was a tricky hop for Ian. He kind of struggled with getting a grip on it, but threw a good accurate throw to Elvis, a strong throw back to first, and they turn an easy double play after the leadoff hit.
And Jose Altuve looking for a fastball, swinging from his heels, and didn't get it. Only missed that by a 1.5 feet, maybe.
I think he thought that was going to be a fastball, maybe.
And he dunks one into right field. Coming on Rios, he can't get there. And Altuve aboard with the 2-out single, and all of a sudden, boy, that double play looks bigger and bigger. Not that that would have happened had the double play not been turned, but you feel a lot better about it anyway. Time for a Mazda game break here before Castro comes up. Here's Dana Larson. All right, Dana, thank you. Well, Chris Davis, how about the year he's having? Huh?
Pretty amazing.
46 home runs. Wild card standings, Tampa Bay now a game and a half up on Oakland. Cleveland 2.5 back of the A's. And then Baltimore now 3 games back as they stay in the hunt, right in the middle of the hunt. 1-0 the count to Jason Castro. Castro has homered and singled tonight. He has scored both runs for the Astros. Altuve the lead from first. Pitch inside that gets away from Pierzynski all the way to the screen. And down to second goes Altuve.
Now you've got Castro, a 270 hitter with a couple of hits in the game, swinging the bat pretty well. Now you have first base open, but it's the go-ahead run. Tanner just not even close with that fastball. And you've got Carter, the next hitter, who's a little bit prone to the strikeout. And we'll see which way they decide to go. And it's a great hitter's count right here at 2-0.
Now, if you're going to pitch to him, the thing you can't do is throw him a pitch that he can drive out of the ballpark to right field. And that would be something from the middle of the plate in and down a little bit. But Altuve at second. The 2-0 pitch. Tried away and missed. It's 3 balls, no strikes. As Tom told you, Castro to be followed in the order by the right-handed hitting Chris Carter. Sheppers 3-0. Ball 4. You know, a walk that really after the wild pitch didn't make much difference. Mike Maddox going out to the mound.
Yeah, after the double play and then the curveball that Altuve missed by a foot, you're feeling pretty good. But then he threw him another curveball, and Altuve just hit it right off the end of the bat and blooped it in. And now you got a little bit of a situation going on.
Yep. That you do. Mike Maddox out to talk about it. Elvis and Jose Altuve having a little fun out there at second base. And while we have a moment here, we'll give you the results of our AT&T Twitter poll. And who do you consider the ace of the Ranger pitching staff? 81% of you responded that HOU Darvish is the ace in your staff. And 12% Derek Holland, 7% Matt Garza. Well, thanks for participating tonight. We appreciate your getting in on our Twitter poll. Carter 0 for 2 with a walk. He struck out twice. The walk came in the 7th inning. Altuve at second. Castro at first. And a line drive foul off the bat of Carter. 0-1.
He was ready for that fastball.
Yes, he was.
So I'm not going to be late.
See, Carter 1 for 4 in his career against Tanner Sheppers, and that one left the ballpark. Sheppers, a check of second. And a little inside move to drive Altuve back. (4-2) Rangers, but the Astros have the tying runs aboard here in the 8th inning. Sheppers sets. Got him on the fist that time, and it's fouled away. 0-2 now. Crowd of 38,699. Starting to light it up a little bit. The 0-2 pitch. Tried the breaking ball, couldn't get Carter to offer. 1-2 now.
You got the outfield playing deep. 2-run game, tying run at first base. Don't want to give up a double right here. Certainly don't want to give anything that Carter can drive out of the ballpark either. He's the biggest power source for the Astros.
Yep. Sheppard started into the stretch motion and decided to step off. A ball and 2 strikes. 2 on, 2 out. Sheppard okay's the sign. The right-hander's ready. That gets away from Pierzynski. Down to third goes Altuve. As AJ looked like he had that ball just go off the heel of his glove.
Yeah, fortunately, Castro stayed at first base, so the tying run is at first and not second right now.
Wild pitch, as you saw that ball bound into the dirt. Second wild pitch of the inning for Tanner Shepard. Well, first and third now with 2 out. A 2-2 count to Chris Carter. Again, the crowd getting riled up to support Tanner Shepard and the Rangers. Shepard coming to the plate. Popped up, shallow left field, going out Elvis. Over his head, he can't make the play. Into third goes Castro. In to score Altuve. The bloop single makes it a 4-3 Ranger lead.
There's an example where you're taking away the extra base hit, but you might give up a blooper, and that's what you're willing to do in that situation. But Gentry was so deep he couldn't get to it. Elvis couldn't quite get back and make a really nice play. Now 2 outs and nobody on. A blooper, a walk, and a blooper, and you got the tying run at third base now. Good pitch. He got it in right where he wanted to. He jammed him. But Carter's so strong, he hit it far enough where Elvis couldn't quite get it.
So still runners at first and third. A 1-run Ranger lead. Here is Matt Dominguez, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Hit him with a pitch. That's going to load him up for Max Stassi. Well, Tanner Shepard has had 2 wild pitches in the inning. He has hit a batter. He has walked a batter. And Jason Frazier trying to heat up in a hurry. Shepard, as we mentioned last night, in an inning of work, gave up a hit, and that was it. And a breeze through the Astros. Tonight, a little different story. He is in jeopardy now of coughing up the lead.
This is a situation he sure didn't expect after the double play. 2 outs and nobody on.
Stassi 0 for 3 tonight. And he gets hit by a pitch. And that's going to tie the ball game.
Well, that hit him. I hope it hit him in the shoulder, but I think it hit him in the head.
Well, Max Stassi not able to get out of the way, and that's the last thing you would expect. Even with the previous hitter, Matt Dominguez, hit by a pitch. That pitch really boring its way in on Stassi. And it looked like it did get him on the shoulder, but caromed off and may have gotten him in the face. Bo Porter immediately out there along with the trainers for the Astros. Umpire and crew looking on, and the trainer putting that towel up to Max Stassi, and we certainly hope he's okay.
It's kind of a shocking turn of events right here. Tanner just completely has lost his command. He's had a walk, 2 hit batters, 2 bloopers. Boy, that's scary.
He just did get a piece of the helmet and caromed off and kind of glanced off his nose, and that, oh, man. So, that brings the tying run across. It is a 4-4 game. And with the time now being taken to get someone to come in for Max Stassi and attend to Max Stassi, Jason Frazier has a chance to get loose in the bullpen if Ron Washington would choose to go out there.
Well, Stassi is the DH. They only have 3 bench players. Wallace has already come into the game. Jason Frazier is loose by now if Wash needs him.
The other 2 players, Jake Elmore, a right-handed hitter, and Jonathan Villar is a switch hitter. Those are the choices that Bo Porter would have. taking his time here to figure out who is going to come into the game as the runner at first base. Doug Brocail, the pitching coach there, former Ranger.
You know, the other thing they could do is they could put a pitcher in to pinch run.
Good, yeah.
And maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, looks like it. That is going to be Dallas Keuchel.
Yeah, they put a pitcher in, don't have to use a position player. They've only got a couple of position players left. And that's not a critical spot to be right now. The man at first in a tie game.
But Dallas Keuchel will, in effect, become the DH. He takes over as a pinch runner. And there's been enough time taken so that Ron Washington now can go out to the mound with Jason Frazier completely loose in the bullpen. So Tanner Shepard's, well, I guess the best way to put it is a meltdown here in the 8th inning.
Well, there haven't been many of those for Tanner.
Nope.
It just kind of came out of nowhere. Got the double play, had 2 outs and nobody on, and hasn't been able to get any of the next 5 hitters out.
The Shepard's finished. Jason Frazier coming on, and while he makes his way in from the bullpen, we will take a timeout on Fox Sports Southwest. And Jason Frazier comes on to try and close the door here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, Jason, with excellent numbers, done a really nice job. He's been in this situation a couple of times in the last month and a half where he's got to come in and get it out with the bases loaded. And big spot for him right here. Tie game, bases loaded, trying to get that last out of the 8th inning right here.
And he will face Brett Wallace. Wallace came on as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. Ended up drawing a walk. No place to put him here. You got the bases full of Astros in a 4-4 ball game. Frazier reading the signs from A.J. Pierzynski. One ball, no strikes. Frazier came in last night's ball game, worked an inning and 2/3. Came on to replace Travis Blackley, who worked the first 4, and Frazier gave up a hit to the first man that he faced and then retired the next 5, excuse me. One ball, no strikes. Fouled away by Wallace. The inning started with Robbie Grossman singling to center field against Tanner Shepard. And Shepard's got the double play ground ball out of L.J. Hose. That looked like things were going to be pretty well in hand. And then it unraveled. Pop fly, foul territory, third base line, and back out of play as Gentry and Beltre in pursuit can't get there. It's now 1-2. After the double play, a little bloop by Jose Altuve. Then a pair of wild pitches ensued, and Castro drew a walk. Then a bloop single by Chris Carter made it a one-run game. Then back-to-back hit batters. Matt Dominguez first, and Max Stassi second by Tanner Shepard. And that tied the ball game as Stassi's hit by pitch came with the bases full. Frazier agrees with a sign. Got him swinging. Fastball up and away, and Frazier gets the strikeout. The damage is limited, but the Astros come back to tie the game. They leave the bases full, so we'll go to the bottom of the eighth. Now the Rangers 4, the Astros 4.
One also will be interesting to hear from Ron Washington and the key players in this game as well, and we'll get you ready for the upcoming road trip. That's all coming up on Rangers Live, presented by Esurance. Buzz.
All right, Dana, thank you very much. We will hopefully have a rally here in the next inning or two by the Rangers and get another W. Kai-Jen Lowe is the new pitcher on hand here as David Martinez works very effectively through the 2 2/3 innings that he had tonight.
Good numbers for Lowe. We saw him pitch an inning in Houston, and he's got a good arm.
So Lowe facing Adrian Beltre to begin things. First ball swinging is popped up. Shallow center field. Going out, Altuve still going out. Makes the over-the-shoulder catch for the out. Nice play by the Astros second baseman.
Yep, stayed with it, kept his eye on the ball. Was able to make a nice back to the plate catch. So when Omar Vizquel would flip his hat off so the bill of his cap didn't impede his sight. Saw him do that in Houston last year he was with the Rangers. Good concentration to make that play.
The one gone. Here is AJ. Brzezinski tonight has grounded out 3 times, once into a double play. That was back in the second inning. And Lowe fires a strike. It is 0-1. Lowe out of Taiwan. He signed back in October of 2008 with the Astros. Played in a lot of international competition that drew attention. There's a chopper to the left side. Gonzalez throwing on the run and gets Brzezinski by a couple of steps. That is out number 2. 2 up, 2 quickly retired. And Alex Rios will come to the plate. Rios 2 for 3 tonight, or 1 for 2, with a walk. Had a infield single in the 6th inning and was stranded at second base after a stolen base. Also grounded out. So the average of 277. Lowe fires a breaking ball that misses. Joe Nathan getting ready in the Ranger bullpen, hoping to work the 9th with a lead. Right now it's a 4-4 game. Off the end of the bat, out toward Altuve. Skimmer stays down. He takes care of it. And Taijen Lowe has a very quick and easy 8th inning. Rangers gone in order. We're going to the 9th in Arlington. It's the Rangers 4, the Astros 4. Out of the Ranger bullpen now will take over. Nathan recording the save last night, his 37th of the year, and trying to pick up a win here tonight, but he'll have to shut the Astros down and hope that his Ranger teammates score a run at the bottom of the ninth.
Well, Joe's excellent numbers. Got a save the other night, trying to get a win tonight. Saved last night, as a matter of fact.
Nathan will work to the bottom of the order to start things off. That'll be Marwin Gonzalez, the shortstop. Gonzalez, then back to the top of the order for Robbie Grossman and L.J. Hose. Last night's ball game, Nathan came on and faced Castro, Carter, and Dominguez, the middle of the Astros order. Gonzalez 1 for 3 tonight. Had a double back in the 6th inning. Other than that, he has flied out and grounded out. Nathan's first pitch of the 9th inning. Off the end of the bat to Beltre. 1 out. Well, that's fairly efficient. 1 pitch, 1 away.
Yeah, the last 4 outs in this game have been relatively easily hit. Lowe had 3 easy balls to handle, and Joe's off to a good start. 1 pitch, 1 little tapper to third base.
Now Robbie Grossman singled his last time up. That was how the 8th inning started off against Tanner Shepard, but he was erased on a double play ground out. It looked like things were going to be pretty easy sailing. but it was anything but for Tanner Shepard. Eventually, the Astros tied the ball game. That's where we stand now in the 9th inning. Now, Grossman hitting at .265. He has extended his hitting streak. Fouls off that next pitch. Got a pretty good piece of AJ's mask and helmet. Grossman now a 9-game hitting streak going. He has been a force for the Astros since coming back to the big club after his second tour of duty at AAA. Fastball called strike. It's 1-2. Nathan, you remember last night, came in and struck out the side in order to close out that Ranger win. And he was throwing nothing but strikes last night. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2 to Grossman. .38-year-old veteran. 37 out of 39 this year in the save category. Call strike 3. Backdoor slider. Grossman hangs his head and walks back to the dugout.
Take a look at it. And that looked like a good pitch. Cut right back into the strike zone. Definitely a strike. Tough pitch to hit, though. You think it's going to be outside, and then right at the end, it just darts in and catches the corner. It's tough to start your swing and be ready for that one.
L.J. Hose takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. Hose, we mentioned that double play ground ball in the 8th inning. Now he is 1 for 3 other than that. Chopper up the ladder goes Beltre. It's over his glove into left field for a base hit. Well, Adrian went up as high as he possibly could and needed another glove on top of the one he had.
He just pounded it right into the ground.
How much did he miss it by? Just that much. So a 2-out single gets Hose aboard, and now Altuve comes up. Jose Altuve singled with 2 outs to start that 2-run uprising in the 8th inning. Very aggressive hitter that Joe Nathan is well aware of. And he drives Hose back with a toss. Altuve was in an 0 for 7 streak before that bloop single to right field in the 8th. 1 on, 2 out. Rip and a miss. Actually a foul tip. Held on to by Pierzynski. It's 0-1. Nathan trying to work around that 2-out single. Get the ball club back to the bench, let him score a run in the 9th inning and walk out of here with a W. To make sure that Hose doesn't get any kind of a stealing lead or jump that he can work with. Hose 4 out of 5 in his 20 games now with the Astros, so he does have some speed to work with. Couple of looks by Nathan, and the 0-1 pitch foul back. So Joe with the advantage in the count at 0-2. The Coors Light freeze can take you back to the 6th inning, and Jose Altuve a drive to deep left field. How about Craig Gentry leaping up, making the catch with a couple of runners aboard, and that saved some damage for the Rangers. Craig Gentry on our Coors Light freeze can showing you that play. Nathan ready to work. A check at first. He will go that way and drive hose back. Chuck Morgan, the director of in-park entertainment, imploring the crowd to make some noise. Get up and get them going here in this top of the 9th inning. 0-2 pitch. Couldn't get him to go up the ladder quite that high. It's 1-2. Altuve waiting. Holds the lead from first. Nathan sets. 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Went up the ladder that high, and Nathan threw it by him. A pair of strikeouts in the inning, no runs, a hit, one left. We're going to the 9th inning. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Rangers and Astros tied at 4. On Fox Sports Southwest. It's brought to you by your Texas Ford dealer. Don't miss the Ford Summer Spectacular, featuring blockbuster deals. Now playing at your best in Texas Ford dealer. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. And by Progressive. Visit Progressive.com today. A 4-4 ball game. Jen Lowe back out for the bottom of the 9th inning. He will face Mitch Moreland, then Jurickson Profar, and Craig Gentry. Moreland took over defensively in the 7th inning for Jeff Baker. Now with his first at bat of the night and takes high and away for ball 1.
And Lowe threw 5 pitches in the 8th inning. Got Beltre to pop up on a little jam shot, and Przinsky and Rios on just little tappers to the infield. So he was dominating in the 8th inning. The Rangers can get something going against him here in the 9th. Maybe Mitch will get a hold of one.
Had a rip at it, 94, and it was up a bit, 1-1.
He's got a good arm. His fastball, 94, 95 miles an hour. Seen a slider to go along with it. Never seen that kind of a web before. No hole in it.
Yeah. I haven't either, I don't believe. 1-1 pitch. Here's the breaking ball that's low and inside. It's 2-1. Lowe had a very simple 1-2-3 inning, as Tom mentioned. He had a pop-up and a pair of groundouts. He has yet to be scored upon in his major league career. Up the middle, and that's through the shift. A base hit for Moreland. Grossman over to cut it off, and With Altuve playing in shallow right field, well around to the right. Mitch Moreland just hit a ground ball that would normally be at the second baseman.
Yeah, and you know that shift works depending on where the pitch is. But you know, a guy's throwing 95 miles an hour, you might not be able to pull it quite as easily. And a pinch runner, Adam Rosales is going to run.
That's a fairly routine ground ball in a normal alignment, but the shift giveth and the shift taketh away.
Well, we'll take it.
So Adam Rosales on as a pinch runner here in the ninth inning. He is carrying the winning run out there at first base. Jurickson Profar the hitter, and the Astros expecting the bunt from Profar. He is around a bunt and takes high for ball one. He had both Dominguez and Wallace, the corner infielders, really crashing down toward home plate.
Yeah, if he slaps one toward third, he can get a double. He's second and third if he can get it by the third baseman as close as he was.
He slaps one toward third. Dominguez is going to have a heart attack as close as he was.
He'll duck, go right by him.
Low set, a check of Rosales at first. Again, the corner men coming down. The pitch low and inside. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, sometimes in this situation where it's definitely a fastball count, might change from the bunt to a hit and run, do something a little different. See which way Wash decides to go. Wash is not always conventional.
Yep. Well, one thing you'd be pretty sure of in this count, 2-0, they're not going to pitch out.
No, they're not going to do that.
You got both cornermen coming down. If Jurickson can slap the ball, he's got all kinds of holes to work with. And he takes high, no bunt shown, but it's 3 balls and no strikes. So Lowe really working himself into a hole, and Bo Porter knows that. Standing on the Astros dugout, top step of the dugout, there's not much he can do about it. Three balls, no strikes, as Profar waits. A strike makes it 3-1. Well, now we'll see what Washington decides to do. Gary Pettis, the Rangers' third base coach, going through a series of signs for both Adam Rosales at first and Jurickson Profar at the plate. Low sets, a check of Rosales. 3-1 pitch, way inside, ball 4. And the Rangers have 2 aboard. The winning run is at second base with nobody out, and Craig Gentry coming up.
Another bunt situation, you would think, with the top of the lineup coming up. Craig's a pretty good bunter. Puts a lot of pressure on the infielders to make a quick play the way he can run as well.
The whole infield now coming into the mound, and Doug Rocaille is going to go out and make sure that the defense that they want to run is the one that the infielders are aware of. This is not the time that you want to have infielders forgetting which sequence of bunt defenses you're going to go through. Rocaille out there to talk to his entire infield, plus the catcher. And Ron Washington with Jackie Moore. And I don't care what they do. If we execute, we're going to be okay. So a base hit to open the inning by Mitch Moreland, and then a walk to Profar. Now Craig Gentry, who has been aboard all 3 times tonight. He has homered, he has walked and scored a run, he has reached via an error and scored a run. Well, the corners are in. You have Rosales getting his lead from second. Matt Dominguez playing kind of a caddy corner, side saddled down there third. Wallace creeping down the line. The bunt is on, and it is down into foul territory as Dominguez grabs it.
Yeah, they risk bunting right into the wheel play right there too. If he bunted that ball fair, Dominguez has got an easy shot to throw it to the shortstop. If you pick up the wheel play as a hitter, you can't bunt because there's nowhere you can bunt it. You bunt it to third to the pitcher. Watch the third baseman's in, the pitcher's in. There's nowhere to bunt that ball without giving up a force out at third base. Yep. So you've either got to try to slap it. There's no infielders. Two of them are charging and the other two are covering bases. So if you put a ground ball in play, the game's over. But if you bunt, chances are there's one out and men stay at first and second. Usually you won't see it 2 times in a row.
Right. We'll see what they do. And Wallace and Dominguez coming down again. And swinging away this time, and Gentry fouls it back.
That's an interesting defensive alignment. They didn't have the wheel play on, but the shortstop was way over near third base, which creates a huge hole in the infield if you do hit a ground ball. You see where the shortstop is way over there, so he can move to third base. They don't really have to have him moving. Yep. He's already halfway there to begin with.
0-2 the count, and I would imagine that the Astros will not be quite as aggressive on coming down to the plate here with 0-2. Low a check of second, and Gentry spoils a pretty good pitch away from him. It is still no balls and 2 strikes. Gary Collin, no decision after 6 good innings tonight. Gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. But
Derek kind of lost his command there as well. Walked 2 batters to load the bases in the 7th inning. The command out of nowhere, lack of command out of nowhere has hurt a couple of Ranger pitchers tonight.
Lowe's 0-2. Couldn't entice Greg Gentry to go after that breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
Throw a wild pitch right here, and you accomplish moving the runners to second and third without an out. Trying to be a tough out now, down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. To have good back control, try to lay off the pitches out of the strike zone and put it in play if he throws you a strike.
Lowe studying the signs from Jason Castro. Rosales, the runner at second. Profar at first. The 1-2 pitch. Out of play. Well, Gentry's had great swings tonight. And started him off with that 3-1 pitch that he hit into the Astros bullpen for his 2nd home run of the year. Then he worked a great walk in the 5th inning. Led that inning off with a free pass and came around to score on Ian Kinsler's base hit. And he reached on an error in the 7th inning and came around to score. He's trying to advance Rosales from second and Profar from first. Lowe's next pitch popped up. That will be in foul territory, and for Wallace a play. That is out number 1. So Gentry retired. Runners stay put at first and second. But it takes the Rangers back to the top of the order for Leonis Martin. So Lowe gets a very big pop-up. The first out of the inning. Martin coming to the plate, 0 for 2 officially tonight. He has struck out and grounded out trying to bunt his way aboard. Then the next 2 times up, he walked and had a sacrifice bunt. Leonis, a .275 hitter as he faces Lowe with runners at first and second in the bottom of the 9th.
As much as he likes to bunt, he's got the third baseman way back at third base. And you beat out a bunt right here. And you load the bases with only 1 out. Generally, the third baseman's playing way in to take the bunt away from him. He's playing back because he doesn't assume that he's going to bunt in this situation.
He's also got Wallace, the first baseman, playing way back.
Yeah, he can bunt and beat it out right here.
1 ball, no strikes. Lowe is set. Ball 2 is high.
And he also line a base hit to left field and win the game, too.
Yep. A lot of options.
A lot of options.
A lot of good options.
He could also take ball 4 and go for a walk. I don't want to limit him to one thing. He can hit a home run and trot around the bases.
We've seen him do that before.
To end the game here, right down the left field line.
That's right. The 2-0 pitch. Ooh, he had a pitch to work with there and fouled it off.
Good swing, just missed his pitch.
Now 2-1.
there to drive into left center field. Good swing.
Yeah.
Pitchers know when you get a good pitch to hit.
Sure do. Matt Garza flinching.
Yeah, he knew that was a good one to drive to the outfield right there.
Low, a long look in. Now the right-hander is ready. A check of second, the 2-1 pitch. Outside, 3 balls and a strike.
Big hitter's count right here. He's got to throw your fastball, and he's got to throw a strike.
Adrian Beltre and company looking on, and they're getting ready to celebrate. They want to be able to do that. Elvis Andrus would like to be able to celebrate too here momentarily. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 on and 1 out. Lowe has the sign and he sets. The pitch on the way. Fouled back. Oh, good rip. And a fastball, and the count has gone as far as it can go now, 3-2.
You've had a couple of pitches to hit and fastball counts, and you got a shot at another one right here. Cash in this time.
Jen Lowe in a predicament. He had a very quick and easy 8th inning. Get a leadoff single here in the 9th, then a walk. A pop out later. He's got 2 on and 1 out. Rangers with a winning run out at second base in a 4-4 game. Right-hander's payoff pitch on the way. Outside and high, ball 4. And that'll load him up with Elvis coming to the plate.
Well, he missed a couple pitches to hit, but he worked the walk. And you're still in pretty good shape right here. You got a contact hitter at the plate. Bases loaded. They have to play the outfield in. Great opportunity for Elvis.
Elvis, last time, if you'll remember, executed a suicide squeeze on a 3-0 pitch. That was in the 7th inning. Drove in his 44th run of the year. And now the Astros obviously coming all the way in. Every position in the infield. Brett Wallace, the first baseman, only about 75 feet from home plate.
Yeah, he's not gonna let him bunt right here. And it's tougher to squeeze with the bases loaded because now it's a force out at the plate.
Right.
And the catcher can field it like a first baseman and stretch toward the fielder. He doesn't have to tag the runner. And so you've got to lay down a perfect bunt. They're going to bring
5-man infield.
A left fielder in, go with 2 outfielders.
Yep.
And see what happens right here.
5-man infield, so you know, in effect, cut down the 2 holes that you have in the infield because the second baseman now plays right up the middle. First baseman on the right side is off the line where the second baseman would normally be, and now you have an extra first baseman. Switch gloves.
Yeah, basically what you're saying is you got a better chance to cut off a ground ball. If the ball's in the air, chances are it's going to be a sacrifice fly anyway. Wallace is going to get a different glove. All sorts of changes going on here.
Well, you can't play any position other than first base with the first baseman's glove.
Change gloves. I'll help you out.
Yeah,
there you go.
38,699 getting on their feet. Bases loaded. Elvis at the plate. 1 out. Bottom of the 9th inning. A 4-4 game. Breaking ball outside. Ball 1.
He wanted that. He wanted to get ahead with a breaking ball.
Now, a little bit perturbed out on the mound.
Yeah, that's a big call for him right there. Get ahead with a breaking ball. You can throw anything you want. Well, it could have been a strike. Now it's 1-0. Might be locked into a fastball right here.
Low from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Fly ball left field. Should be deep enough. Rosales tagging. Grossman with a catch. Here comes Rosales. Here comes the throw. The slide. He's safe. And the Rangers walk off on a sacrifice fly. They complete the sweep of the Astros 5-4. And it is mayhem out of the infield. Elvis is being dragged around the infield.
And he doesn't mind it a bit.
Nope.
And even Adam Rosales got a chance to get into the game and score the winning run. Yeah, an exciting way to end it. You might look at it like it was a little bit easier game to win than that. But you got a nice off day tomorrow. Everybody participated. And a walk-off win is pretty exciting for the players, pretty exciting for all the fans that came today as well.
I hope Elvis is going to be okay. He's got that off day to heal up, stretched out neck that he just got dragged around by. Elvis with a couple of huge RBI, the last 2 RBI for the Rangers tonight. Came on a suicide squeeze and a sacrifice fly. The sacrifice fly, the game winner right here.
Well, it was good execution by the offense today. They took advantage of some opportunities. They cashed in, and they win a close game. Game they let slip away to a little bit of a degree in the 8th inning, and they come back to win it right there.
Well, the Rangers win their 8th straight against the Astros. They moved to 21 games over 500 for the first time this year as Adam Rosales, happy to be off the waiver wire and in a Ranger uniform, scoring that winning run. He and Kinsler and Rosales celebrating, and the dugout celebrating, and they go after Elvis.
Who was that pulling him?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Martin's pulling him. He's pretty strong to be able to pull a 200-pound dead weight.
Drag the infield with him. Let's go down to Ali Lucia with Elvis Andrus. Ali?
Elvis, a big win for this team and a big walk-off win for this team. Walk us through that last play.
It was, I was trying to look for a pitch that I can drive. They were playing me in, and I knew I didn't try to do too much. Just trying to see a pitch up in the sun and trying to put a good swing, and that's what I did.
A sweep for you guys of the Astros, but also a suicide squeeze for you in the 7th. Can take us through that pitch and that play.
That's the way we play. I think that we're always gonna be ready for any situation, any moment, and it was kind of weird a little bit. First time that I do a squeeze play with 3 balls and no strike, but you got to do everything you're capable to do every single day to help the team to win.
What is it about this team that you guys seem to find all different ways to win any night of the week?
That's the way we play. I think that we play with the heart. We play inning by inning. We're not gonna take any game for granted. I think from now on, every game is super important. And what we need right now is continue to play hard and keep winning series.
And another road trip for you guys. You were successful on that last road trip. Looking forward to Chicago?
Yeah, for sure. It's a tough play for us, but the way we're playing right now, the momentum that we carry right now, it's going to be huge. I think that we can continue to play the same way, be aggressive, pitch the way that we're doing, and play good defense. We're going to be in a good shape.
Thanks, Elvis. Enjoy the day off tomorrow.
Thank you.
Buzz, back to you.
All right, Ali, thank you. Very happy Elvis Andrus going into a very happy Rangers clubhouse. We will have a happy wrap-up. It'll be Dana and Mark McMorrow to wrap things up when we come back. 5-4 the final. The Rangers walk it off in the 9th inning. Back after this on Fox Sports Southwest.